And we are live. What's good, Charles and Man? DL Saint. Welcome. Really on that podcast. How y'all feeling out there, man? What's good? Happy Monday. Hope everything is going well on your end. Hope everything is nice. Take care of some lighting issue. There we go. Turn down that light a little bit more. Man, I hope you guys are good. Hope you had a good weekend. Back into the swing of things. You're probably back at work doing whatever it is you're doing. And we're back here to do part 2 of the James Sexton flagrant interview, which I think is going to be a good one. This is going to be at least a 3-parter because the interview is so long, and I just want to cover the whole thing because there was so many good points made, so many good points. And I think as a society, I hope we're ready to have this conversation, to hear this message, because love and marriage, like legal marriage and falling in love, 2 different things. One has nothing to do with the other. And if you're not prepared, you will get wrecked, guys. You will get wrecked. That's James Sexton's message. It's all about the prenup and understanding the law. And I agree with him. I am 100%, with him on that. So let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Get some indeed, man. What's up? I hope y'all feeling good out there. We got brother Educated Tyrone in the building. What's up, man? What's up with you, bro? Good to see you, man. James Sexton is always a good dude to review on marriage and divorce, man. His message, like I said, bro, his message is a good message. It's a message that we all should heed. What James Sexton is talking about, bro, it makes a lot of sense. Just understand what you're getting yourself into when it comes to marriage. It's nothing to do with loving someone. It's nothing to do with your relationship. It's just when you sign a marriage license, when you get married in the United States, you're getting married to the United States government, bro, and you are subject to whatever laws they decide to come up with, and they being elected officials, that's just how it works. Salute to you, bro. Chilling on your day off, man. That's what's up, man. Pretty much every day is a day off for me because this isn't work. I like doing this. This is fun. And, taking my daughter to school and picking her up, that's fun. But pretty soon I'm going to have to find, proper work. I have to do something. The economy is definitely taking a turn. You see what's going on with Wall Street. And for retired folks like us, man, that really hits us, where it hurts, bro. Like, your money's tied up in the markets. So, bro, I'm gonna have to get out here and find a proper gig. And the economy, especially for part-time work or just trying to find yourself a little gig, bro, it's hard out here. I mean, unless you're trying to do Uber or Uber Eats or, the food thing, DoorDash, whatever. Unless you're trying to do that, it's pretty, it's pretty challenging to find yourself some work. And the thing is, my schedule is kind of locked in, especially during school. I want to take my daughter to school and I want to pick her up. That's just something I want to do. So, people are like, oh, yeah, we'll take you on, but we need you to work these hours. Like, I can't do that. I got to go get my daughter. I got to take her to school. I got to bring her back. My priority is being with my family. So what does that mean? That means, got to take the bull by the horns and got to get out here and hustle. So doing the promotion thing, ramping up stuff for entertainment. I'm going to probably start going out and doing road gigs. I'm going to get ready to do that just to make a little, extra money here or there. I love comedy and, doing stand-up is amazing. So it's like, okay, let me get out here. I have plenty of friends in the business. They're like, hey, man, whenever you're ready to get out here on the road, just let us know. We'll bring you out. We'll feature you. We'll make sure we'll get you paid. I got some of my buddies like, hey, man, I can get you an agent. This is what I need you to do for me. Just give me this information, give me these videos, give me this, and we'll get you an agent. So I'm probably going to have to go that route. And then, as you guys know, if you've been following, I'm working with Will Ghostin. We've become really good friends here over the past year or so. He's a really cool dude. So, and this is a guy, 12-year NFL veteran who is doing stuff away from the field. So at least I can help out with that. Like, oh, you got this project over here. Well, I can help you with that, and, kind of do that thing. But the economy right now, guys, I'm telling you, this is just the beginning. It is rough out there. We're going to be doing some episodes about it. We're going to be doing some episodes about it, just not today. And Educator Ron is like, yeah, man. He likes how James can take more sensible argument to the more gimmicky or popular red pill audience. Yep. The stuff that James Sexton is saying when it comes to relationships, when it comes to marriage in particular, is the exact same message you hear from the red pill world. Even black pillars, like, it's normally a divorce if threw them into the black pill world to begin with. Any guy who's gone through the family court system, even if you're not married, but you have to go in for child support and all that kind of stuff, that whole system is messed up, bro. And James Sexton is simply telling people what we should be teaching people to begin with. This is how it works. Unfortunately, we don't teach people anything anymore, bro. We just don't teach them, man. And it's crazy, right? It's crazy. How is it that people are so eager to get married and they have no idea what it means? They have no idea what they're signing up for. They have no idea what's going to happen when the marriage ends, one way or the other. So we're going to definitely get back to that. We got Brother Mandrell in the building. What's good, fam? We're definitely going to get back to that. And yeah, Brother Tyrone, you're right, man. Like, it's hard out there, man. Like, people don't understand what's going on with this economy. Trump has to take the blame for it because, he's the guy. He's in the office. This was going to happen regardless. Didn't matter who won the White House. It's just what Trump is doing has accelerated things. So, bro, it's bad. Firing all these people, laying folks off. The private sector's been laying off folks. You got businesses going under. There was a Fridays restaurant just down the street from me. I mean, it's walking distance. And sometimes I would go walk over, during football season, watch a game or something like that, have a couple drinks, watch the game, get a quick bite to eat or whatever. And it was cool. There was always people in there. It's Friday, so you got the dining area and you also have the bar. And there was always people in the bar. Always cars parked there. It's like at a really good strip mall with some, some pretty, it was like a Target there. There's like some other big stores. And then, they have this place. Bro, they're closed. Doors are shuttered. That's it. They're closed. Big, paperwork in the window. No more Fridays. It's like, wow. And it's the spot, the location is perfect. If my man Will Ghostin hadn't opened his cigar lounge where he opened it, I'm like, bro, this would have been perfect. Again, not knowing what it would cost to get in there, what the lease would be, but I mean, walking in the door, you're probably going to get the best terms possible because of the downturn in, in the economy right now, especially in the commercial real estate sector. So, bro, things are shutting down. And so Fridays goes out of business and that's, 20, 30 people out of work. You look at Forever 21 out of business. That's thousands of people nationwide out of work. Right? You look at what's going on with Doge and, people losing their jobs with the government, although the judges are saying, hey, those people get reinstated, but it's just a matter of time before they get fired again, right? And you're talking hundreds of thousands of people losing their jobs. And in some cases, like with the government stuff, you're talking six-figure jobs. Gone. So, yeah, man, it is crazy. It's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of that. Just pay attention to what's going on. Like, look at the Walgreens. Maybe in your neighborhood. Have you noticed that your Walgreens went out of business? CVS, they're cutting back. Kind of look at this stuff, bro. Corporations are cutting back when it comes to labor. So it's like, dude, if they normally have 5 employees per shift, man, they'll cut that down to 3. And it's like you're gonna have to work harder. And if you can't keep up, they'll bring somebody else in there. It's trying times are here, bro. it's here though. And Rite Aids are closing. Wow. I didn't know that because I don't see that many Rite Aids. I'm going to keep my eyes open now. But here in Central Florida, like in the Tampa area, bro, 5 Walgreens that I would see just driving around town, gone. 5 of them and a couple CVS's. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, hey, it's rough. It's rough out here, man. So, but again, that's not what we're here to talk about, man. Let's get into marriage. I want to start off by saying, like, bro, I am not anti-marriage. I am not anti-relationship. I'm not. As you guys know, that's something that I won't do. I'm not going to get married because I don't like the way the rules are set up. At my age, in my 50s, if I got married now and didn't work out, and they're like, oh, you're just going to lose half your stuff. Like, well, that half that I'm losing should go to my child. That's her inheritance. Half of her stuff is getting taken now. So I don't want to take that risk. So I simply not looking to get legally married. It's not something I want to do. It just doesn't make sense. Now, of course, if I came across a woman who was worth, what's the example I always use? She has Oprah Winfrey money and she wants to get married. Fine. Let's get married. You got Oprah Winfrey money? Let's go. We can go to Vegas right now. Go get one of those drive-through weddings. I wouldn't care. Not that I want to take anything from her, but if I was into her, she's attractive, she's fit, she's friendly, she's the kind of woman I want to be with, and she wants to get married, fine. I'm not going to lose. We could do this for 5 years, 7 years, whatever. You walk away, bye. I'm not tripping. I'm not going to lose. You're not going to take anything from me if this doesn't work out. The only person at risk in that scenario would be her. And this is why I tell folks, like, marriage doesn't care about your, the law doesn't care about your gender. Right? They just want to know who has it, who got the money, who got the assets, who has it. You have it, we're taking it from you, ma'am. We're giving it to him, right? And vice versa. So these laws don't care about your gender. They don't. When you find yourself before the judge, you might find yourself in front of one of those activist judges. You might find yourself in front of a judge who just doesn't like men or just doesn't like women. But there's only so much they can do. If you're the person with the money, there's only so much they can do. They got to follow the guidelines. They're going to put your information through that computer, and the computer's going to spit out this really big number that you're going to have to pay every month, right, for alimony. It's going to it's going to tell you who gets what property and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to spit out another number if there's children involved for child support, and that's how it works. So until then, right, I'm not messing with it. I'm not messing with that system. And what James Sexton talks about, he's like, look, man, just get yourself a prenup. Just handle that part of your relationship. Who is better suited to decide what's best for you guys than you? Why would you let the government decide how things are going to go? Get yourself a prenuptial. We got Brother Dom in the building. What's up, man? It's like, he wants to know why I want to take that trip to Thailand. I mean, look, I wouldn't mind going to Thailand. I wouldn't mind going to the Philippines. I haven't been there yet. I'm definitely going to go to the Philippines. My homegirl, Marty, she's a director, in Hollywood. I knew her when she was an actor, director, writer, very sharp, very good. Marty's family's from the Philippines. She's invited me, and I'm definitely going to go. I mean, she's married. She recently had a baby. I would love to go to the Philippines and hang out. I would love to do it. But that's a long flight. So if I go to that part of the world, I'm going to stay over there for a while. Hey, Philippines, Thailand, hop over to Vietnam, Laos, right? Maybe go see Cambodia. I'll spend some time over there. Maybe even going to New Zealand while I'm on that side of the world, But if you're talking about just going over there because, the women are fine and this and that, do that down in Central and South America, bro. You can go down to Colombia, Brazil, Peru. You can go to Mexico City. Bro, you can go Aruba, Curacao, like there's so many places you can go, just like a really quick flight over here. I can go to Cuba now that I'm out, I'm retired. I'm no longer in the agency. I can go to Cuba. So yeah, man. And I'm good right here in the good old USA, man. I was hanging out with some people last night. We're doing some like salsa and stuff like that. And boy, I met quite a few beautiful women, man. It was just hanging out, talking, chilling. It was good times. That's why I like doing those events, like kicking it with the Latinos, going to socials. I love going to barbecues when I catch up with my people. That's when you meet folks and it's easier to talk and, have a good time. But boy, oh boy, it was some beautiful women there. But there always is when you go into like a social or a Latin place. Brother Michael's in the building. What's good, fam? Yeah, that's right. Mr. Recreational Use himself is in the building, man. Brother Michael Lee. Good to see you, bro. So let's break this down, man. Let's pull up. Let's pull this up. What did I miss? Oh, I'm good. My bad. I saw something caught my eye. I'm like, wait, what did I miss? I'm good. So we're going to pick up where we left off. This is a 2 hour and 40-minute interview. We've gone through about 31 minutes already. So like I said, it's definitely going to be a part 3. We're going to run this as long as we can, and then hopefully set this up for a part 3 that we can do on Thursday and finish up. But really pay attention to this conversation and the dynamic, because Andrew Schultz and Akash definitely, or the guys who recently got married, these dudes have that traditional, blue pill, knight in shining armor, Disney fairy tale of marriage in their head. And they're fighting with James Sexton on this thing, but it's not very confrontational, but they're throwing out their view. And their argument only goes so far. This is a guy's like, bro, I'm extremely wealthy off of this. Like, I'm just letting you know how it goes. Like, it's guys like you to make guys like me wealthy. I'm trying to save you money, right? So it's crazy that the conversation only goes so far, because they're like, he's like, bro, I'm the subject matter expert. I'm the dude. Like, I could put my, he's probably got enough money to put his kids both through Ivy League schools and all that. He's like, bro, I'm set. I'm just letting you know how this works. Like, he's truly putting them on game. So I really want y'all to pay attention to the pushback that comes from the guys on this set, which is crazy, because you never want to see anyone go through this. But you can't get around the numbers, bro. 56% of marriages in America end in divorce, man. 56%, according to James Sexton. And that doesn't account for the 22% or so who stay married, even though it's a loveless relationship. They might not even live in the same place. They stay married because they don't want to have to go through the problem of paying people to split everything up, right? So that's crazy. What's that, 78%? So you can say 80% of people that get married aren't successful. Like around 20% of people are. That's insane, man. So let's definitely get into it. Brother Pitney in the building. What's good, man? Please like the video. Please share the video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hey, man, hold on. Oh, that's my phone going crazy. I'm talking loud and my phone's downstairs and the phone started talking to me. Thought I asked for something. I thought it was my daughter. Like, what the hell? But yeah, man, lost my thought there. That threw me off. I heard a strange voice in the living room. I'm like, what? I'm about to jump off this balcony and see what's going on down there. But like, bro, like this message he's putting out there and the pushback that he's getting and what he's trying to share. Boom. I completely lost my train of thought. I know it was the 80-20 thing. Oh yeah, 20% of people are successful. Could you imagine a product you're trying to sell on the open market and I'm trying to sell you whatever I'm trying to sell you? Let's say I'm trying to sell you shoes. And I'm like, man, I got some shoes. They look cool. I got everybody food. Like, these are the shoes to get. But I tell you, like, these shoes are going to fall apart 80% of the time. 80% of the time, these shoes are going to fall right off your feet. And when you come to me to confront me on it, not only do I tell you tough cookies, but I make you give me money. Like, my product doesn't work. And your shoes are falling off your feet because you bought my product, and I'm going to make you pay somebody else because my product doesn't work. My shoes fell off your feet. You paid me for them. And now you got to pay the person standing next to you. You got to pay them money because my shoes didn't work. My product was defective. And that's what James Sexton is trying to tell people, bro. You know what I mean? That's what he's trying to tell folks. Like, look, this product doesn't work. We need to do something about it. And the only thing we can really do about it right now is understand how it works and get yourself an agreement up front. This is how we're going to end this. If this thing goes sideways, this is what's going to happen. And you guys just work it out as opposed to letting the government work it out. So let's check this out, man. Let's get into it. This is Flagrant with James Sexton talking about prenuptials and how the marriage game works. So let's go.
I ask myself that question a lot because sometimes people are so brazen
that it's just like you
kind of go over like, what's going on? And they're like, I don't know, the cartoon stopped. And mom's like, what is this? And all of a sudden there's naked pictures of the girlfriend and she's reading in real time. And this happens like once a week. I get one of those things.
Yes. Okay, question about that. Do you think those people are just at the point where they're okay getting caught? Because that seems so foolish.
Yeah, I ask myself that question a lot because sometimes people are so brazen
that it's just like
you kind of go, yeah, like
on some level, subconsciously,
you're like, I mean,
they're
subconsciously,
just cowards. They can't end it, and they're like, I just need some. If something does happen where it does end, I'm okay with it. But I don't.
Quiet quitting.
Yeah, I think a lot of them feel. You know, Patrice O'Neill had a thing he used to say about
Won
how,
me over, right?
how he had a great thing about how he said, you know, cheating. If you think about it, is a man. He said, a man is leaving his home to get some happiness without hurting your feelings.
Go to fuck a girl behind a dumpster.
Right. Like, but
to get a little bit of happiness.
So I think a lot of these
without
guys,
hurting your
feelings.
cheating is for you.
Yeah, it's for you. Yeah, and I remember like hearing that and going like, but you know, when you spend enough time with people who've cheated, that's legit how they're like, look, I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. But we don't have that anymore. Yeah. Like we have this, like we're running a daycare center together.
Yeah.
And like I love her. I like coming home to her. I like her mom. I like her brother. Like we all get along. I like all the stuff we do. I like our home. I like our life. But like I want to fuck sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean like I had a friend who once said to me like
prostitution, dude.
The moment you know you're in a relationship is when you're in the middle of sex and you think, one of these days I've got to get laid. You know, and I think that most married men do not acknowledge that this is correct.
No, it's a bit.
Married men, it's a bit.
Yeah.
Most married men will go, oh yeah, okay. Like I kind of get that. Like the difference between.
Yo, that's insane. You're married, you're with your woman, and y'all getting it on, and you thinking to yourself, one of these days I'm gonna have to get some? Wow. Never been married, man, so it is what it is. Obviously, there are dudes out there that think that way. And this is why we tell folks, bro, like, look, if you're getting into a relationship and you know yourself and you know that you're not going to be able to turn down an offer that some 23-year-old barista at the local coffee joint made to you, say, hey, you can get this, and you know you're not going to be able to say no, you should let your wife know that before y'all get married. Like, look, I know how I get down. If she's fine enough, I'm gonna go ahead and let her get it. Here's the deal. I won't bring home any kids. I won't bring home any diseases. You will never see her. You'll never hear about her. I'm gonna be, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep my game tight. Let your wife understand that's what you're gonna be doing and let her make that decision. So if she says, okay, I'm with that, then cool. She like, under those conditions, I don't want to find out about it. I don't want to see it, then cool. But guys don't do that. Guys don't do that at all. We got Brother Paulie in the building. What's good, fam? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Like, you know, those dudes, bro, I mean, they're all in. They love marriage. It's all Disney fairy tales, candy canes, and lollipops, man, until they find themselves in court and they lose all that. Right? They lose all that money. They lose their investments. They lose properties. They lose their kids. And then, boy, that goes away. It changes. It changes. They become more hardcore than Myron Gaines. They become more hardcore than Coach Greg Adams. They come back, bro, you know, or they might go deep black pill. Something like if that dude Akash, if something goes wrong, which it probably will, I don't wish it on no one, but something goes wrong with his wife, the way he worships her and pedestalizes her, bro, oh my Lord, it's going to be ugly. Just put it that way. It is going to be ugly. Right? Because these people were like, it'll never happen to me. 56% chance that your marriage is going to end in divorce. 56%. Add another 22% that y'all ain't going to be happy. Like I said, almost 80% chance of failure. You telling me it's not going to happen to you. It's just going to happen to everybody else, just not y'all. Come on now. Come on now. You know what I mean? Cut that out. Cut that out. Would I ever get married? I would never get legally married, brother. You know, Brother Michael, I would never get legally married. No, I would never get legally married. I would, you know, I look forward to finding a woman, like once my daughter is out of high school and like, you know, get established in college and she's getting, you know, established with her life. I would love to, you know, meet someone, be with someone, kick it, you know, be with them. All that. I would stop short of cohabitation. Like I would always maintain a place. She, you know, I would encourage her to always maintain her place, and we can, you know, kind of kick it over there and then kind of kick it over here. I'll be very mindful of the common law, marriage laws wherever I'm living, and I would never sign a document. I would never get legally married. I just wouldn't do it. Now, if I were to do it, I would 100% have paperwork up front. 100%. There'll be documentation, prenuptial, whatever you want to call it. 100%. 100. I wouldn't. I'm. If this doesn't work, this is how we're gonna split stuff up. This is. We're gonna plan for this thing to go the distance, and we're gonna plan for this thing to fall short. Right? We're gonna plan for everything. You gotta understand. I'm not having any more kids, so I'm not worried about the child support part. But you know, it just doesn't make sense, man. I had this conversation with a woman, not that long ago, man. As a matter of fact, y'all want to hear the story? Here we go.
Everybody sit down, please. It's story time. It's story time.
So I was out and about doing my thing, out in the trenches. I was at an event, and I was part of the hosting team. So I was going around just making sure everybody was cool. I'm keeping my eye on the wait staff. I'm keeping my eye on the bar. I'm keeping my eye on the entertainment, and I'm keeping my eye on the customers. I'm making sure everybody's cool, going around, working the room. So, you know, I see this woman start, chatting her up or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Somehow we wound up talking about marriage. And this is an older woman. She was older than me, right? She was in her late 50s. And here I am in my mid 50s. And I was kind of like, oof. You know, like she looked good for her age, but she looked like she was in her 50s. I mean, it's not like she was looking like she was in her 20s or 30s. And she thought I was in my 40s. And I was like, nah. So we were talking, somehow I got talking about marriage. And I'm like, that's something I would never do. And she goes on, you know, defending marriage, and, you know, talking about all this. And I'm just running the numbers. And I'm like, look, we all agree that 50% of marriages end in divorce, right? We all agree that. Then there's a bunch of people out there who stay married, but they're not happy, but they just stay together for the kids or because they don't want to go through the pain of going through divorce court and all that, right? She's like, yeah. So I'm like, kind of stuff we're saying now. I was like, 75 to 80% of the time it doesn't work. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, but you should do it and da-da-da-da-da. So she was like, are you a lawyer? You sound like a lawyer. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a guy who knows the numbers. Like, no, I'm not a lawyer, but I've hired a lot of lawyers. I've paid a bunch of lawyers. I owe a bunch of lawyers. It's still stuff I got to do. Like, so no, but I've been through it. And she's like, but you said you've never been married. Like, yeah, I just family court. I had to go for my child. And then she said, well, I've been married, but I'm divorced. And I was just like, so what are we talking about here? But she's like, oh, I want to get married again. And I think James Sexton talks about that. I think he says like 85% of people who get divorced are remarried within 3 or 4 years or something like that. That's another crazy stat. So, bro, this woman was trying to holler at me, man. There was no way I was going to talk to her. I didn't even want to smash. I mean, I wasn't attracted to her. Her conversation, she was way too alpha. It wasn't like she was cute. I mean, her body was, like, she looked good for a 50-year-old, but there was no way. No way. And here, I'm trying to tell you, man, she was trying to get it. She was trying to get on. Here I am trying to change the subject. I'm bringing up everything I can that I'm like, okay, let me talk about this. I'll start bringing up red pill talking points, right? Trying to get her to go away, and it did not work, bro. She could not. She had worked her way into the section and everything. I'm like, oh, man, I wound up having to leave the section. I wound up having to leave the section. It was crazy. Crazy. You know what I mean? Absolutely crazy. And Brother Paulie is saying, like, section is red pill. He is, man. It's just the way he delivers his message, people find acceptable, bro. Like, and you'll be surprised how this interview goes, bro. The way he delivers his message, people find acceptable, and he's very funny. So I'm surprised you haven't seen this, Paulie. This is some good stuff. Brother Mike wants to know, would I advise my daughter to get married? Yeah, why not? Yeah, I'll definitely talk to my daughter. Like, yeah, definitely want to do that. I've already told her, like, you're in high school. Start finding those nerdy dudes now. Like, I watch who she's talking to, and I'm like, stay away from the jock, man. Talk to this nerdy kid. Right? You want to talk to an athlete? Talk to them boys on the golf team. Find one of those kids who's going to get a scholarship playing golf. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. My daughter hears this stuff. She's downstairs now walking around. She can hear me, and we talk about this stuff. Now, right now, my daughter's a band nerd, so she ain't really worried about it too much. But, you know, we're planting seeds. We're letting her know what's going on. You know, I definitely don't want my daughter to be in a situation where she's in her 30s, you know, mid to late 30s, early 40s, talking about, I want to get married and have a bunch of kids. It's like, nah, we need to be talking about that when you're in your 20s, young 20s. If that's what you want to do, that conversation needs to be had, and you need to take steps early on to get that going. I'm gonna freeze my eggs. I'm gonna have all these kids. Like, we're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? We are not gonna do that. So that's what's up. And a lot of people say that, brother Mike. Like they won't mess with older women. I mean, I don't. My thing is, if she were, Selma Hayek, who is probably in her 60s but still beautiful as I don't know what, but people say she's batshit crazy, but they're like, man, she's still fine. I wouldn't mind going around with Selma Hayek, hit some red carpets and do whatever and smash. But would I marry Selma Hayek? Probably not. Just too much to deal with, bro. It's too much to deal with. Let's continue.
Because again, I think there is something really true about you can't, some of the freaky shit you want to do in your head, blame Pornhub, it's on all everybody's heads.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that with the person that then you'll be like, okay, so which of us is going to bathe the kids now? Like you're not going to do that. So I think men sometimes move away from that kind of a connection with their spouse. And then they say, look, I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to lose my family.
In other places,
I want to chase this shiny object. And by the way, look at how many half-naked women we are exposed to on a daily basis, thanks to Instagram and TikTok and everything else.
So it's our fault, really. We have to keep degrading the women we love. Is that your point?
I don't think that's bad advice. so insofar as they at some point enjoyed that, yes. Like if you started out that way and then you said, she might secretly be like, why don't you ever like a filthy slut anymore? Like I'm also a mom, but I'm also a filthy slut.
Yeah, I'm both. We can be both.
You can be both. I think you probably.
So Mark, that's why our parents are still married.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, bro.
Yeah, my dad got like the gimp costume in the basement.
There's no Madonna whore complex. You gotta just put them together.
Your parents got 8 kids. I could have told you they were doing some wild.
My dad always makes this comment. We'll be at dinner. He's like, Amanda, you still got that nurse outfit? And everyone's like, Dad, what the fuck?
Wow.
He's like, I'm joking. But, dude,
That's awesome.
That's interesting.
But cheating is one of those things. I mean, I joke that I've got a PhD in cheating because you listen to people who've been cheated on, you listen to people who've done the cheating, but the people that I'm shocked by are the people that like they know their spouse is cheating. Like they had one of those iMessage moments, or they like the cameras catch stuff, all the little Nest cams, security cams, the baby cams, nanny cams, catch stuff. And they don't let the spouse know that they know it. And they're like 3-4 months in to like, I watched this person having sex with their mistress on the nanny cam.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm still sitting across the table from them. And I find myself thinking like, how the fuck do you keep that?
Yeah, you're the sociopath, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
I see why that person cheated.
That. Like, you kind of go, how are you not like just losing your shit on this person at all?
Because there's a lot of money involved. That's how. Trust me. If let's say I was in love with a woman, I didn't know any of this stuff, right? I was just, Disney fairy tale. I'm into her. She's the best thing in my life. Bloom, bloom, bloom. Then I come across a video of her getting her back blown out by somebody, or, I come across the text messages and I see the pictures going back and forth, and all that kind of stuff. And I know that we get a divorce. If I lose it and I do something stupid, she's gonna get more than half. She's gonna get, 75% or more if I do anything stupid. So you gotta sit back and put on that poker face, bro. Go outside, yell, scream, cry, do whatever you're gonna do. Go talk to your inner circle, talk to your homies, and they're gonna tell you like, nah, bro, do this, plan this out. Cause you are worth way too much to be throwing it all away on your emotions, right? So you work through that. You come up with your plan. You sit across that table, right? You do whatever. You still kiss her, even though you know what she's been doing with that mouth. You might go gargle, whatever afterwards. You play the game. You let her know ain't nothing really wrong. Everything's cool. Give her flowers, surprise her, do little things, right? Buy her gifts. But meanwhile, you're getting your team of lawyers on board. You're restructuring everything. You're getting your trust and all that stuff done. You're getting her to sign documents, right? You're getting everything set up. And once everything is ready, just like Michael Corleone in The Godfather, bam, you make it happen. You unleash hell. And then if you want to call her name, you call her whatever you want to call her. Show the videos, show the text messages. You done seen all that. Let her, boom, be like Orange Juice Jones. I saw you walking in the rain. I don't touch that coat. Take all the gifts back. Take all the Birkins, all the Kellys, all the Chanels. You know what I mean? All the Louboutins. You're taking all that back. All the Van Cleef. You're taking all that back. You know what I'm saying? That's how you should move. But the average dude ain't gonna do that. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna lose it. He's gonna strike out. He's gonna lash out, and he's gonna lose everything in the process. That's what's up. And Paulie, I did not know that Sexton was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, bro. That's fire. That's fire. I didn't know that. Like, you know, that's the kind of money he got, bro. Like, that dude, he is the guy. If you don't listen to James Sexton and you get ran over in the court of law, the family court, man, that's on you, bro. I got nothing for you. That's on you.
All, you know, but people can
And
do
why
it.
do you think?
Yeah,
Jared,
why is
Kids
that?
usually, or
I think it's I don't know. I think it's a combination of like if they say it out loud, it's real.
Yeah,
And I
they're in
you know,
denial.
Yeah, sometimes people come into my office and like they have a very hard time. There's tissues on like every desk because people are just they having to say it out loud.
Oh.
You know, having to like say out loud like,
Yeah.
yeah, this thing's broken. You know.
Yeah, you also see why like sometimes it's forgivable for people. Like I think sometimes when you're like young and in a relationship and you don't have like children or anything like that, and there's like a cheating thing, it's like the one thing you can't do. It's like
Well, I got to tell you, we're in modern society. Like, what I will tell you is a lot more people come back from cheating than you'll ever know.
so yeah, I'm interested to talk about that, not for personal reasons at all.
Yeah.
No, nothing to do with that. But yeah, I feel like when you have X amount of kids, you have homes, you have a life that you guys all enjoy, and then the husband does some when the wife does it, I bet the dads are like, fuck this, it's fucking over. But when the husband does some shit, I wonder if some of the wives are like, ugh, does he not have a relationship with her? Is it a one-time fucking
Well, it depends what the shit is.
Right.
It depends what you do.
Well, and the question.
Wait, what do you mean by that? What do you
Well,
mean
like,
by
it depends on the nature of the infidelity.
Yeah, if you get your dick sucked while you're on a trip with the
Right.
boys or something like that, that's different than if you're fucking like her friend in the community. Because now you're embarrassing her, and there's this whole.
Well, what I'll tell you
I
is the
think
difference.
matter
You
a
know,
lot.
the difference between men and women is when a woman gets caught cheating, the man's first question is, "Did you fuck him?"
Wow.
And the woman's first question is, "Do you love
Do
her?"
you love her?
Y'all paying attention? Where have you heard that before? I can see all the red pill dudes with their hands up. Ooh, I know where I've heard that before. All throughout the manosphere. And that just shows you where it is. A guy cares about who his woman is giving her body to. A woman cares who the guy is giving his love to, his emotions to. It's crazy. A lot of women, bro, she finds out her dude, she's with a powerful man and he was out smashing or whatever. Right? Jay-Z, for instance. Beyonce found out or whatever. It was what it was. She wasn't going anywhere. She ain't gonna find another Jay-Z. It's a rap. Who Beyonce gonna get? That she wants. You know, just that financial asset, that element there, right? So, she could deal with that. But if she found out that Jay-Z had another family somewhere, was in love with some woman somewhere, he like going to her with his problems, or she's the one comforting him. If Beyonce found out about that, oh, bro, it would have been smoke in the city. It'd have been over, bro. It'd have been World 18 over there. It'd have been billionaire versus billionaire, bro. It'd have been ugly. So women just look at it differently. They just look at it differently. Like, dudes ain't cool with their woman, having that guy friend or hanging out with the dudes or whatever, but they'll tolerate that. A lot of these dudes will tolerate that. But if you find out his wife is smashing somebody, that's it. That's it. I know a lot of dudes who are like, well, I'm going to forgive her for it. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know why. Brother Michael wants to know, would I take a female serious, man, if she has the hair, hat, the back wing, eyelashes, and tattoos? All right. If she has that, like the eyelashes, tons of makeup, tattoos, depends on where the tattoos are, right? First of all, depends on where the tattoos are. The fake hair, the eyelashes, the makeup. If I see a woman like that when I'm out and about in the trenches, I'm not even talking to her. I don't care. She puts herself in my orbit. I move. If she eventually comes up and says something to me, I will end that conversation. I am not attracted to that type of woman. I'm just not. I'm not. That's not me. However, let's say I meet the same type woman through business or through some sort of social event or events. I meet her somehow. I know her. Here's the deal. Here's what I tell you, brother. So long as she doesn't have tattoos on her breast, like on her face, on her neck and all that. Let's say she just had a couple tattoos, like maybe one on the small of her back. Y'all know the tramp stamp. maybe on her shoulders. Like I got tattoos. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5, 6 tattoos. Yeah, I never see them. You might see them sometimes when I'm sleeveless, right? So if she has tattoos that are hidden, maybe you know how the women do the small tattoos, like right here, whatever. I can work with some tattoos, right? Just nothing up here, nothing on her face or neck. That's a no-go. As far as the makeup, the hair, the eyelashes, if a woman is really into you, bro, she'll change all that. She'll get rid of the weaves, bro. If she's really into you, she'll take the makeup off. She'll get rid of the weaves. She'll get rid of the Venus flytraps, you know, these things. You know what I mean? She'll get rid of that. She'll get rid of that because she's into you. She's into you. All you got to do is mention it. In fact, she'll know that you ain't into that because she will realize that you didn't speak to her when she was doing all that. You didn't speak to her until she took the stuff off. And you're telling her stuff like, oh, wow, I had no idea you were that beautiful. Well, what do you mean? Well, I've never seen you without makeup before. Now I'm seeing you without makeup. You don't have those, you know what I mean, those Venus flytraps on your eyes, and I'm seeing your real hair. You're a very lovely woman. Right there, she's done with that shit, especially if she's into you. She's done with the wigs. She's not going to be wearing a lot of makeup, right? Because if she's into you, she's looking towards you, she wants to be with you, she's going to do those things that you find pleasing because that's going to get her closer to you. Right? Real talk. So I guess the short answer to your question is, nah, she's wearing all that stuff, tattoos, I ain't interested in that. But if the tattoos are hidden, you know, small, not too crazy, they're not on her cleavage, they're not on her face and neck, as far as the hair, the makeup, the eyelashes, she'll get rid of all that if she wants to be with me. And I ain't even got to tell her. Right? So that's the true answer to it. So keep that in mind, bro. Like a lot of these women, they do that stuff. That's their form of peacocking, man. They want to be seen. And there's so many simpletons out there telling them, giving them the attention that they're, you know, hoping to get. But I mean, I see it all the time, man. They got their hair flattened, you know, smoothed out, the baby hair thing or whatever. And, you know, the contacts and all the craziness, the nails. I just don't deal with them women. Right? I was at I was at the dance last night, you know, just beautiful women walking around. They had nice nails, but they weren't talons, you know what I mean? Hair pulled back, looking good. There was a dance team there. They looked good. They had on more makeup than most women because they were performing. But when they came in there, they didn't come in with a whole bunch of makeup on. They put the makeup on prior to the performance. The women in there were looking good. They were looking good. They were dressed right, and they were looking good, and they came out to dance, and, man, it was amazing. I wish I could have stayed for the entirety of the event, but I had to leave early to go get my daughter. But, yeah, man, women will adjust. Women, if they want you, they'll find out what you like. If they don't find out from you personally, they'll find out from your crew. You know, a woman, you know, she might be all ghetto glammed up and talking to one of your homeboys like, how come he never talks to me? And then if the dude knows, you're like, it's all that makeup, shorty. Makeup, the eyelashes, the fake hair. He ain't into that. Like, look how you dress, the see-through clothes. He ain't into that. Like, if you want to holler at him, you're going to have to look like shorty over there. You know what I mean? You're going to have to dress like Maria, right? You're going to have to dress like Tracy over there. Because he is never going to look at you dressed like that. It's like, just like you ain't never going to look at them dudes dressed all fugazi or whatever. You ain't looking at them dudes because of the way they dress. He ain't looking at you because of the way you dress and present yourself. So that happens, fam. You know what I mean? That happens. Brother Penny's like, yeah, going easy on him provides him with more opportunities to make appearances, but he should really put some of these podcasters out of business. He'd be doing the public a lot of good. Right? Yeah, bro. He's definitely... I think with James Sexton, for him, it's the message. I think he wants to get that message out more than anything else. Hey, man, get prenups. Quit hurting yourself. Understand the marriage law in your state. Understand what you're doing before you do it. I think that's his message. He doesn't care. If he were to go ballistic on certain people, let's say that he went ballistic on, you know, let's keep it 100, man. The flagrant guys, they're all, you know, blue, you know, white knights, blue pill dudes. If he just went ballistic on all the blue pill guys, the message will only go so far. And let's keep it 100, man. Red pill message, bro, like it's not received well. You know, YouTube restricts it. So if you want to get your message out there, you're going to have to present it in such a way that people are going to want it. meet people where they are, as they say. And I think that's what Sexton is doing. James Sexton was able to keep these dudes at bay. These are probably, the most immature guys out there right now. These dudes are in their 40s now. This was cool when they first started. They were young dudes out here doing their thing. Flagrant was crazy. But now, like, they're grown, man, and they still acting like teenagers. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing? So, I'm pretty sure, like, and James Sexton was able to control these guys for over 2 hours. He controlled this conversation. Every time they tried to go off on tangents, James Sexton brought it right back to the point he was trying to make. Outstanding job on his part. That's a Don DeMarco right there. Don DeMarco. So not only can you learn from his experience as a divorce lawyer, you can also learn, you want to talk about frame, you want to talk about going in and controlling a room. Look how he controls this room for well over 2 hours. Right? Study that, because I've watched this interview a bunch of times already, and I'm just fascinated by the way, like, how he was able to control the room with these wild dudes. Andrew Schultz is the wildest dude of all, man. Like, trying to keep him on message, trying to control him. He breaks you, he stops you, he says all this stuff. Sexton was able to power through all that just to get his message through. Pay attention to that, y'all. Get y'all number 2 pencils out and start taking some notes.
Because that's the distinction. And I will tell you, in my experience, and again, don't fucking pillory me for this one, guys. I didn't make up gender roles. I'm just observing what's sitting on the other side of the fucking desk.
Yeah.
But what I'm not talking about you guys, I mean the comments. The reality is that women are much more forgiving of those things, because I think there is a part of them that goes, yeah, you're a fucking idiot.
You're a guy.
Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're a guy. Like, this had nothing to do with me.
And
this
there's
has
so
to do
much
with
to
you.
lose.
Yeah.
That you losing so much.
Yeah.
Whereas a man allowing his wife to cheat,
Yeah.
he's lost his entire identity as a man.
But what's
I don't
hard
think a woman loses
Yeah.
anything as a woman when we cheat, because the expectation of us is we're a bunch of fucking idiots that
Yeah.
can't stop putting our dick and stuff.
Yep.
They spend the majority of their lives telling guys that they don't want to fuck them.
Yeah.
So when they do, you must have wanted that shit.
The problem I have too is
Real quick, Bill Maher, when I was doing this pod with Bill Maher, he had a funny idea, and he was like, I oftentimes hear female rappers say this thing like, I'm gonna steal your man, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like that's
take
the
that
hardest.
dumpster fire.
How the hell you stole me? Like, it's the easiest thing in the world. That's some like hard task to do.
No, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah. Stealing somebody's girl is tough because you're taking away from a life
Well,
you
that's
really
why.
love.
Right. That's why I've always said the whole thing of a hall pass.
Yeah.
Is the fucking dumbest deal in the world for men.
Yes.
Because like think about it. If I say, all right, with my girl, if I say to her, like, all right, we each have a hall pass, and she goes, okay, mine's Bradley Cooper, and I say, okay, mine is, I don't know, Angelina Jolie,
she can
or
fuck
whatever. The chances of me, if I meet her in the first class lounge and I go, listen, just so you know, I have permission if you want to go have a little something. But the chances of like a guy being like, if she went, listen, I'm allowed to suck your dick right now, you'd be like, I got 10 minutes. It's never a good deal for the men.
Well, because we pick the wrong people.
I'm being ambitious, You
got to pick
camera setup.
Fucking JetBlue flight attendant, and then some gay guy with tits, and you're just like, that's the one who I'm going to cheat.
Yeah, that's
something attainable.
But it really is one of those things that I think with women, what I do feel bad for women about is
But, yo, I can't tell you how many times I come across dudes, they're like, yeah, man, we got that pass. I get a pass if I come across my crush, And I'm like, yo, she get a pass too? Well, yeah, she comes across her crush, she gets her pass. I'm like, who's her crush? You know what I mean? It's Allen Iverson. I'm like, dude in here, right? It's like, what? Allen Iverson in here? Like, yeah, man, this was in L.A. This is a true story. We in L.A. kicking it, right? And this was back in the early 2000s. And I'm just sitting chopping. I didn't know this dude. He just, chatted me up at the bar or whatever. Why? Because the bartenders knew me, the bouncers knew me, the managers knew me. So he come up like, hey, what's going on, man? Well, trying to figure out what's up with me. I'm hollering at him like, yeah, I come in here a lot, whatever. And he's talking about, I don't even know how we got on the subject, because I guess I was probably saying I ain't trying to be married. I ain't trying to be with one woman. I'm running my rotation, He's like, well, I got a pass. Well, who's your pass? And I forget the female. It's some random, like a Beyonce, Kelly Rowland type. You know what I mean? It was just something, I can't remember exactly who. But I do remember asking, like, does your wife have a past? And he said yes. And I'm like, well, who is her past? And he said Allen Iverson. And I'm like, Allen Iverson's in here. You know what I mean? Like, we were at, it was, I forget the name of the club. It was on Hollywood and Fairfax. I forget the name of the club though. Man, I can't remember the name of the club. It was Hollywood and Fairfax though. And it was like a couple different, it went through a couple different owners, so it had a couple different names. But at the time it was popping. And it was a bunch of NBA guys in there that night. Right? There was some Lakers in there. What's his name? Ori was in there. Iverson was in there. There was some other people in there. And I told dude, like, Iverson's in here. And the look on dude's face, he like, man, quit playing. Like, I ain't playing. Iverson's here. Now, I don't know what happened. I slid away from the bar and went to do what I was doing. And I didn't see dude the rest of the night, whatever. I don't even think I could pick dude out of a lineup, be honest with you, bro. But I just remember that encounter. And the look on dude's face. Right? Because right away, my mind goes to the fact that I'm like, man, his girl is so cold. She's such a player that she knowingly set this up so she can get a shot to do something with Iverson in LA. They weren't even from LA. In LA. Like, damn, that's cold. A lot of dudes like, come on, bro, you reading way too much into it. Ain't no way in hell she planned that out. And I'm like, I think she did. I think she planned that out. I would not be surprised if I bumped into dude, or if dude's out there right now watching this podcast, he'll jump in the chat like, yeah, she did wind up smashing him that night or the next day. She built a whole trip around the fact that she had a pass to smash Allen Iverson, and she came to L.A. when he was in L.A., was at the party. He was at the party. Now, mind you, he wasn't advertised on the flyers or anything like that, but the spot was popping. So, dudes, I tell y'all all the time, y'all think y'all getting over with, I got a pass, she get a pass. Like, y'all game is not strong as her game. So don't even try to outthink her. Don't try to out-scheme her. If she wants to do it, she's way better than you are. Just wanted to throw that out there, bro. You know what I mean? And Brother Pitt, you're right, man. That is not a smart idea at all. That's dumb. That's dumb because she can, whoever her hall pass is, she can get that dude. All she got to do is place herself in his orbit, like I'm always saying. That's all she got to do is place herself in his orbit, bro. And like this woman did, plan a whole trip just so she can get a chance. The slightest chance she could be in the orbit of her hall pass, and they out there, and there he was. You know what I mean? And bro, and you're right, man. 1,000,000 times more opportunities to use her pass than the dude ever will. Ever will. And guess what? If the dude is an A-list guy, if the dude's a top-tier dude, right, and he's running that game like, oh, I'm a good man to ask for a hall pass, this girl ain't never going to get my hall pass. In other words, if the opportunities were even, right, if you were Brian McKnight in his prime type dude, handsome, talented, all that rich, and you get married to a woman who she is not going to be okay with a hall pass if she's like a regular chick. You're going to have to figure that part out. Like, you're going to have to come with it. Like, this is what I do. I'm going to be out here smashing these other girls out. It gets into your game part. But if y'all go in, you know, traditional, let's say, we both into each other, we're going to forsake all others except for this hall pass. If dude is a top-tier guy, the woman will not agree to it. Why? Because she knows it's a chance you might come across that woman and that woman will let you smash. So she ain't going to agree to that. Because she don't want to give up the upper hand. Let's continue.
The women who have been cheated on, they've said, okay, you know what? I'm going to look past this. We have family, we have kids and stuff like that. No, what I actually feel bad is that how other women, they have to suffer in silence, because if they told any of the women in their life, I'm taking him back, they would be fucking excoriated. They would be destroyed. Like, you ever want to read vitriolic comments? Any woman like who takes back a man who cheated on her, like Beyonce got way more shit than Jay-Z.
She had to put out a whole album.
Because it had, she had to like beat him up somehow to have some redemption. And again, from other women. Because women were like, how dare you take him? Because it has to.
right.
She left him.
That's social
She'd have been the girl boss.
Yeah.
She'd have been the, he has no right to do that.
Wouldn't that be the same for men though? If a girl cheats and a guy takes her back, wouldn't guys
Same
fucking
thing. Yeah, same thing. You get pilloried for it. Yeah, you kill So you have to suffer in silence. You have to not tell people that this happened, which, by the way, it is a hard thing for people to come back from, rebuild trust from. People do it all the time. People do it all the time. And usually what it is, they come into my office, they're like, I want to kill him. I want him out. I want to file tomorrow. And I have done this long enough that I'll go, okay, listen, if we want to do it, and on Monday, we'll still do it. But this just happen.
hang out a
Let's
second.
take a breath.
Yeah.
Let's get our ducks in order. Let's, And usually a couple days later, they'll call me and they'll say, you know what, we talked, and then we're going to go talk to someone. We're going to go to a counselor. And very often I never hear from that person again. And I think that they figure out a way to navigate it.
Do kids make a difference?
Yeah.
Kids make huge.
massive.
Yeah.
You have a tremendous reason to keep it together if you have children. I mean, you're fully going, in best case scenario, you're going to lose a huge chunk of time with your children. You're going to lose the support of a co-parent. I mean, it's difficult to raise a child with two people. It's difficult with one person. It's incredible.
It's almost impossible,
Yeah.
dude. It's like, unless you have help, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's very challenging. So I think that
I'm sitting here thinking about what they were saying about if you're a man, your wife cheats on you, you take her back. Bro, I just can't fathom that. I just can't fathom that. I can see if it's a woman, she's in the rotation. Maybe she was my number one. She's in the rotation, and word gets back to me that she's smashing some other dude. Not one of my dudes, but somebody out there, you know what I mean? Like, oh, man, she's smashing dude. But I can't get that mad, right? Because she's in my rotation. I will drop her from the number one status, though. For anything else, it's like you careless, right? You let me find out. I tell women all the time, they ask me about cheating. Oh, what are your thoughts on cheating? Love me enough to where you don't get caught. Ignorance is bliss. But if I find out, it's over. It's nothing to talk about. It's over. We're not going to have an argument. I'm not going to be slamming the doors. We're not going to be keying cars. I'm just going to slowly start moving my stuff and removing you from my life. I'm going to slowly start taking my stuff out of my drawer at your place. I'm going to gather up all the stuff out of your drawer at my place. And when I'm ready, I'm going to dump, while you're at work, I'm going to dump all that stuff in your house. I'm not going to dump it all over the house. I'm going to be nice and folded. All your stuff is going to be nice and folded. I'm going to leave the keys there. Like your keys are there. I'm changing my locks, right? So you can keep my keys. It ain't going to work. You know what I mean? I'm changing my locks. I would have come up with a plan to get the little fob from you so you can't open up the outer gate. I would have figured out a way to do that, get that off of you. I'd have figured all that out, right? And then I'd have made my move like Michael Corleone. That's it. Why? Because you sloppy. I found out. Love me enough not to get caught. If I'm a dude and we're married and you cheat, bro, you're going to do it again. You're just not into me. If a woman is really into you, bro, other men truly, the thought of having sex with another man for a woman, the thought of her giving her body to another man would disgust her. If she's really into you, that will disgust her. So if you're dealing with a woman who had sex with another dude, she really wasn't into you, homie. And there's no take backs. There's no take backs. What? Nah, you gone for good, baby. But fellas, if and when it happens to you, you must maintain your composure. Keep it together. Don't go out here and go off emotionally because it's going to mess up your leverage. It's going to mess up your leverage, bro. Right? So just keep that in mind. But it is crazy. It is crazy to me that a man who's married to a woman and she has sex with another man and then he takes her back. That I just don't understand that. Kids, no kids, I don't care. That I don't understand that. We can still be cool. We can be partners, right? You want to be my partner? You want to be my buddy? We can do that, but you're not gonna be my wife. You're not gonna be my woman, right? So that's, a lot of ladies be like, he's my partner. Well, if a woman calls me partner, she just lost her slot. Like, you introduce me as partner if you want to. That lets me know where we at. Oh, you see me as a partner? Fine, partner. So next time we get together in bed, why don't you bring your girl, Bethany in here? Since we just partners, how about me, you, and Bethany's be partners tonight, and we gonna, do this three-way real quick. That's what I'm gonna do. If you see me, that's how you see me, as a partner, fine. I ain't got a problem with that. I'm just gonna shuffle, I'm gonna shuffle the rotation. And just for clarity, guys, right now, I don't even run rotations. I ain't doing nothing. I'm 100% about this hustle. I'm out here doing what I gotta do. trying to make things happen. Like we're trying to make this podcast successful. I'm out here doing comedy. We're doing promotions. You know what I mean? I'm writing a book. Like I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff right now. I do not have time to chase women. And like I done told you guys before, bro, like you can go out here and focus on you and get money, or you can go out here and chase women. But you can't do both well. You can do one or the other well, but you can't do both well because it takes a lot of time, energy, resources, focus to do those things. So like right now, I'm not even thinking about women. And bro, like I said, I was around some beautiful women last night. I was talking to this woman, she was so amazing. Beautiful, cool, great conversation, very feminine, very fit, very friendly. And I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, but for a moment, I thought about, bro, for a moment, I was like, holla, 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 holla. I was thinking about it. For a split second, I was thinking about it, but it was like, no, I don't have the bandwidth to pursue a woman right now, romantically. I just don't have it. I just can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm more focused on my daughter's my priority, and then I'm focused on the hustles and all that kind of stuff. So, man, oh man, man, oh man, it's crazy, man. Brother Michael was like, yo, saying, I swear, listening to you, Sexton, y'all make me not want to get married or have kids. Hey, man, look, it's James Sexton's message is understand what's going on, which is the same as my message, bro. Understand how these things work. What are you putting out there? That's it. Understand what you're doing. Once you understand what you're doing, then go ahead and make your decision. It's an informed decision. What people are doing now, what guys are doing now, like what Andrew Schultz did, what that Akash guy did, ran out there, normally married a woman, no prenup, no nothing. No nothing. And they're taking off like this. Bro, that is not smart. That's not smart. I just don't, that is not, I don't have any merch yet, bro. Appreciate you asking. I am working on it. Hey, see this? We're working on it. We're working on t-shirts. We're gonna get a hat, t-shirts, and lightweight hoodies, bro. So hopefully by summer, I'm thinking by like August, I'll have some merch, bro, and we'll figure out a way. Maybe we'll get some sort of store set up so I can get it out to you guys. But I'm working on it, man. We got the I Really Want to Know shirt here. I got a light blue one. Shout out to Queen Naya. That's my man Jay Swans' wife. She's like doing this for me. We're going to have cups, and we're going to have hats and hoodies and t-shirts, bro. So, all right, yes, we're going to get on that, bro. We're going to get on that, man. The merchandise is coming. And hey, actually too, guys, when we get this merch going, give me some ideas for some slogans, bro. You know what I mean? Some slogans, man. All money ain't good money. I probably, that was one of my favorite sayings in life. But, I guess I already know what your slogan's going to be, bro. Go ahead and put it in the chat, brother Michael. I know what your slogan is going to be. We might have to put that on there. But yeah, we're going to do some stuff, man. And like I want to say like the first maybe 200 shirts, maybe 500 shirts are going to say day one on there. So they're going to be for the day one. So it's like all my day ones now. So the first shirts are going to say day one. And we're only going to do like maybe 500. Like I said, maybe 200, maybe 500. But once we stop the day ones, we won't make any more. After that, the day ones will be like, you have to be a certified day one to get a day one hat or to get a day one cup or whatever. But if we're going to put it out there, like it is what it is, bro. But yeah, man, it's appreciate you asking. You know what I mean? And we definitely gonna have your shirt, bro. It's gonna be rec use only, Mr. Recreational Use or recreational use only. We're gonna figure that out. But I'm looking for sayings, bro. If y'all come up with sayings or whatever for the merchandise, let me know. We'll figure out a way to get it on a shirt, get it on a hoodie or something like that. So let's continue with the video.
That people have, the more skin you have in the game, like that's why I always say like the ultra people say like, oh, it must be really hard representing like super wealthy people. I'm like, no, they have enough money to buy another fucking house and another apartment and another place in the Hamptons. So they each have one and they have nannies that travel between both places. So there's stability for the kids.
Sometimes they keep the kid in the same house and the parents.
Nesting.
Yeah,
nesting. The parents, the kids have the nest.
So the kids never have to leave, which is a really
and the
awesome
parents each
scenario.
get an
like that.
apartment, and they kind of come back and forth with the kids. And,
Oh, wow.
You know, look, we
But
don't
that's
know.
like a huge privilege. How many people can own
Very
free
few people
home?
can
Like
do it.
it's
Very few.
But that is probably the best for the children because now they're not packing a bag literally every single
Yeah.
week.
You know what I'll
Forget
tell
about
you is,
homework and-
we don't know who discovered water, but it probably wasn't a fish.
Yeah.
Like when a kid grows up in an environment where mom was here, dad was here, and I spent time with each other, that's just all they know. Like, they're,
Yeah.
okay, that's how it was. Like, when a kid's 10, 11, 12, and suddenly mom and dad who were living together are living in different places, that's traumatic. That's challenging.
But
if you're if you're a 2-year-old, and now it's like, okay, dad lives here,
That's
mom
your
lives
life.
here, and I spend. When you ask that person when they're in high school, like, what was your childhood like? They'll say, like, well, I don't know, like, it was, I lived with mom sometimes, dad sometimes. I spent time with both of them. It's
Also,
kind of
if you
what it
grow up
was.
in like New York City, where divorce is pretty popular, it's probably easier for you to do. But I agree with you. Like the kids can be absolutely destroyed if it happens when they're a little bit older, a little bit smarter, and aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of divorce where the kids are kind of being used as like a leverage tool.
Yeah.
That's really fucked up.
Yeah.
Is there ever time where you like step in? You go, why are we?
I
why are we
try to
punishing
do
the
that a
kids?
lot. I mean, what I always say is that the person who cares less about the children has tactical advantage in a custody proceeding.
Wow.
In the same way that a bank robber has tactical advantage over the cops because they can shoot innocent bystanders. Like the cops can't just spray with a machine gun and hope they'll hit one of the robbers.
Yeah.
But robbers can just spray and hope they hit the cops. Like they can run over the sidewalk,
So
whereas
how,
cops
would
can't
that,
do
how would that work in the court proceeding, for example?
You
The person
know,
who cares
by
less.
by insidiously alienating a child from their co-parent, by injecting into the child like a dislike or a fear of your co-parent so that you get custody. I mean, by the way, most of the time this isn't just done as a vindictive thing, it's also done for financial reasons. Because if you have the children more than 50% of the time, you get child support. And that's a big chunk of money. New York State, one kid's 17% of your gross income less FICA, 2 kids is 25%, 3 kids 29%, 4 kids 31%. So like of your gross income.
Think about that.
is what you're
Before
paying in
taxes.
child
So if
support.
you're spending 50% of taxes, like say you're some rich person, 31% is going to your wife and the children.
If you have 4 kids.
If you have 4 kids, and only if she gets them 51% of the time,
Right.
you still got to provide for your life.
It'd be a lot cheaper to just hire a nanny and fight for custody. And that's what ends up happening.
And there's alimony that goes along with that?
There can be spousal support goes along with that.
Do you see now how the ha-ha boys ain't got a lot of ha-ha right now? The ha-ha boys like, well, hold on. How much money? How much gross? Yes. When you get hit with an order, alimony or child support, they look at your gross income and they base it on that. They're like, well, you got it. Gross. And then all of your taxes and all that stuff come out. And then you left with what's left over. And that's why so many men get absolutely devastated. Some women too. Some women get caught up in this and they get hurt. But historically speaking, men have been absolutely devastated. You got guys, you done lost the house, right? You done lost, half of your retirement. Right? You done lost the kids. And they're taking all that money. How are you going to be able, and think about it. So you're like, well, I'm going to go out here and give me another job. I'm going to go get another full-time job. I'm going to go get an Uber. Fine. They're going to redo your finances and they're going to take the gross of that. And then if you lose, now you can't walk away from those jobs. Now you got to keep working because the numbers are based on that. You got to have a solid lawyer. You got to have a solid accountant to get around that, bro. It's at 50%. So, it's like, bro, you got 48% custody, but you're paying the max payout. This is why I say it's evil to monetize children. This is a problem. And if society isn't going to change it on one end, well, we can educate people on the other end. And that's what James Sexton is doing, bro. It's crazy. I mean, and it's, I can see what you're saying, bro. Like, it's like rolling dice. But it's if you understand what you're getting yourself into and you take the proper steps, you're good. Now it's not a gamble. You know what's going to happen if this doesn't work out because you guys have already determined that. And that's what Sexton is going to get into. So, again, I'm not anti-marriage for other people. All I'm saying is listen to this dude and understand that you need to protect yourself. Both parties. Y'all need to protect yourselves. Y'all need to look out for yourselves. And this is what Sexton is getting into. But I'm telling you, like, the ha-ha boys ain't laughing right now. Look at Akash. Like, look at these boys. They sitting around thinking. Look at these dudes. They're like, this is insane. And yeah, it's insane. And you're the breadwinner. Again, if you're the person that has less, you're golden. If your woman is worth $10 million and y'all get married or whatever, and 5 years, 7 years down the road, she decides she wants to leave you, you ain't got no problems. You ain't got any problems whatsoever. It's up to you how y'all gonna proceed forward. And I tell dudes, man, I'm not trying to take nothing from a woman. If we were together and it didn't work out, man, I'm going on about my business. I'm not trying to take anything from you. But if she try to get big, if she tries to get nasty, if she comes at me with something crazy, okay, we can go to court. And another thing too, when you find yourself in court and you're dealing with spousal support or you're dealing with, child support or whatever, you can ask the court to have the other party pay for your legal expenses. So the person who has the money is going to wind up paying for both lawyers. Can you dig that? Can you dig that, bro? I mean, when I saw that, I was like, bro, what the hell?
Houston, we have a problem.
What the hell? And the court knows you don't have any money. They done ordered the whatever, the spousal support, the child support. They know how much you bringing in. So on top of everything else, they want you to pay for both lawyers. The system is crazy. Let's continue.
But think about it. So if it goes to 50% and you hire the nanny, at 51% to 50%, there's no real difference in the amount that you're going to see your children. But the difference in the amount that you're giving to that woman,
massive,
who now you hate and hates you. Wow.
Yeah. And by the way, there's no one like doing an accounting to make sure it's spent on the kids.
That's the
so
other
like
thing.
sometimes it's like that was meant to be for the kids and it was used for the tit job. Or it was used for like sex toys with the new boyfriend.
And how is that decided who gets custody?
In New York, we have what's called the best interest standard, but most states have some variation of that. And it's as subjective and crazy as you'd think it is. Like it really is full context storytelling. Like you go in as a lawyer and you just have to try to tell the story of why your client is stable, consistent, reliable, and a good parent, and why the other side is less than. And why
this may be a New York.
Which is crazy. Florida used to be like that, but Florida has changed. So if you're out here and you're dealing with a woman and y'all about to, you believe she's going to try to take you to court, she wants child support, see if you can get her to move to Florida, or you move to Florida and you file papers in Florida so you get that case here. And why do you want to do that? Well, Florida has made changes to their family court law. When it comes to child support, the state of Florida believes it's in the child's best interest to have equal access to both parents. What does that mean? When you file for child support, or when you file for custody, when you go for custody of your child or children, it's 50-50. In Florida right now. That's the new, it's default, 50-50. That's the judge can't do anything, but it's 50-50. And I'm sure that there's stuff out there like, well, we can prove that this person is harmful or, a criminal or is a felon, all this other kind of stuff. That's probably out there, but the burden is going to be on that lawyer to prove that the other person is unfit. So it starts at 50-50. What does that mean? That means if there's any child support being paid, it's going to be the absolute minimum. It's 50-50. So, Florida's on the right track. Hopefully other states will get on board. And I agree with you, Brother Pitney, man. Like, Sexton knows exactly how to get this conversation going. He knows how to finesse the red pill truths right in there. And he hits hard. This is a masterclass. Pay attention to how he's doing it. If you guys want to engage in a red pill conversation about, family law or, the intersexual dynamics or whatever, you want to be able to do it in the way that James Sexton is doing it right here. This is absolutely a masterclass. And Brother Michael, my case was in California. My child support case is based out of California. So I'm not sure about this. If you have over 10 kids, that they can't put you on child support. What I think happens is they just take from the child support you're given. So, and again, don't quote me on this, bro. You have to look this up or talk. Actually, I talk to a pro, like talk to an attorney. But I think the way it works, you get over a certain amount of children, they're already taking a max amount of money they could take from you. So what they're doing is just taking the money, moving the money around amongst the children. So if you got 10 kids by 10 different women, and let's say your child support, is $1,000, I think that each woman would get $100. I think that, and if you had another child, then they would break it down, and then now everyone's getting like $80-something or whatever. I think that's how they do it. But do not take my word on that. I am not a licensed attorney, and I'm not even sure how that particular law works in Florida. But I do know for a fact that they changed the law, so it's default 50-50 custody now when you go in, default 50-50. That's huge, and I look forward to the rest of the union catching on that. You know, it should be default 50-50. It is in the child's best interest to have access to both parents. You know, monetizing children is evil. You guys know how I feel about that. Let's continue.
Thing, but I always hear that the mother always gets the custody.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty common misconception, and I understand why people say that, because I think women fight much harder for custody than men do, and I'll tell you why. Like, and I probably don't even need to, but I'll point out why. If you and I, all right, if we meet in real life, we're just out in a bar, and you say to me, so Jim, tell me about yourself. And I say, well, you know, I'm a lawyer, I'm divorced, I have my kids, they live with their mom. Every other weekend I have them. You'd go, oh, divorced dad, nice guy probably, you know.
Oof.
I'm a woman.
You don't have those kids.
I have 2 kids. They live with their dad. I see them every day. What the fuck is wrong with her?
Social
drugs,
pariah.
mental health. And by the way,
Scarlet letter.
like, I mean, go on Instagram, hashtag mom life. Like, believe me, like, I've represented some co-parents of celebrities that, like, these people are opioided out of their minds. But when it's time to take that kid out like a Birkin bag, you know, they bring them out and they're like, I'm a mom. And then they're like back to, all right, take this fucking kid away, you know? And they care less. But it's optics, you know? Whereas for a man, if you go, yeah, the kids live with their mom, people go, oh, yeah, well, of course the kids live with their mom. So that's where I think that comes from. But the truth is, like, men get custody all the time. The maternal presumption was eradicated years ago. There used to be something called what was called the tender years doctrine, which was if a child was under the age of 7,
you let the mom
mom automatically got custody unless you could show she was an unfit mother. That was eradicated in the 1980s. But, you know, some of the judges, like, have been around since then. So they remember that. And judges, remember, judges are human. Like, judges are people. So they have the same bias as anybody else has. So sometimes he's the judge is a divorced dad who's like, dads are just as good as moms. What the fuck? Sometimes they're a pissed off ex-wife of somebody and they're like, fuck that guy, because they're taking out, you know, these are humans.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a second. I got some absolutely incredible news. Okay.
So this is their ad. We're gonna let that ad roll through there. But you hear what Sexton is saying, man. Like, you got to learn the game. You got to learn the game, gentlemen. That's what it boils down to. There's plenty of people giving you as much game as possible. If you find yourself in a situation where a woman says she's pregnant and you believe you're the father, the very first person you should talk to is an attorney, in my opinion. Go to an attorney. Go find the best attorney you can afford. Go hire that attorney, and they'll tell you what's up. They'll tell you, okay, this is what you'll probably be looking at in child support. This is what you're going to be looking at as far as, you know, custodial parenting time. This is how the laws work. They'll brief you, all that good stuff, which is, you know, too little too late. The briefing should come beforehand. But, you know, same thing if you're with a woman, you're thinking about getting divorced, or you think she's cheating on you, you think, you know what I mean, before you go off on her, before you do anything like that, man, go and see an attorney. Go and see an attorney. And another thing, support Flagrant, man. Buy their stuff, man. Promoting Acorn and all that kind of stuff, man. Look into that. Help them out. You know, I get it with Andrew Schultz and all that. Like, Schultz, I got a lot of respect for him as a comedian. I mean, I saw him doing this thing when I was doing my thing out in L.A. He took some huge risks, and it paid off for him. He's good, man. He commands the audience. He does his thing on stage. He knows what he's doing. I respect him for that. Akash even goes out. In fact, Akash is coming down to Tampa next week. I think I'm going to go by. He's at Side Splitters down here in Tampa next week. I'm going to go by there, see if I can't chat him up. I respect what they do on stage. Their opinions and all that on their podcast, well, that's something different. And, you know, we can agree to disagree, or we could chop it up and, you know, argue till the cows come home and just keep it respectful. But I do appreciate the fact that they allow folks to, you know, react to their content, like doing what I'm doing now. And I don't have to worry about, you know, getting crazy stuff from their end. They really encourage it. We saw that when they were talking about Fresh and Fit, and then Myron and Fresh reached out to them and they invited Myron and Fresh onto their podcast. I got to respect that. You know, I got to respect that. And by the way, when Myron and Fresh were talking about the marriage stuff, this very topic, man, they were going in on Fresh and Fit, right? But it's the same thing that James Sexton is saying now. What's the difference? It's the way he delivers the message, one. And two, more importantly, he's an expert. He's a subject matter expert. So, like, it is what it is. So I do want to give Andrew Schultz and his team, I want to give them, their props, man, because they could be out here doing all kind of stuff, but they're out here letting people use their content and react to it, just like we're doing now.
No, I represented, actually, I was one of the first people to represent a trans woman in a custody proceeding about 20 years ago. And
were they divorcing themselves?
No, they were. This was actually a really amazing story. This was like the most manly man I'd ever known. Like, he was like he was jacked. He was like a big dude.
Yeah.
And I knew him because he'd actually done work on my house. And I remember thinking, because I was married at the time, I remember thinking my ex-wife secretly wanted to fuck him. Because he was like this big dude, work boots, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So one day he calls me up and
he loves renovation.
He calls me.
He's an interior decorator, but it doesn't matter.
It's a fixer-upper.
He made some significant changes. He calls me up one day, he says, can I come in and talk to you? And I said, yeah, sure. And I knew he was married and he had 2 very young kids. So he comes in, I'm like, oh shit, he's probably having marital problems. Comes into my office. I said, what's going on? He says, look, I think we're splitting up. And then I said, oh man, I'm sorry to hear it. I said, what's going on? And he goes, well, I've decided I want to live my life as a woman. I was like, wait, excuse me?
Yeah.
Like, this is 20 years ago. Like, this is not part of like the cadence, this wasn't a thing. And this was not the dude you would think. Like, there was nothing feminine about this guy. Like, I was way more feminine than this guy. And he was like, yeah, I've always felt this way. And And he did. Sure enough, he transitioned pretty quickly. And like many people who transition, initially he looked like a guy wearing a wig, and like he looked like a dude who was, he'd started hormones. And when we went to court, the judge actually issued a temporary decision saying that he was allowed to see his kids as long as he dressed like a man when he saw his kids. Now, if the judge did that now, they'd be thrown off the bench and possibly jailed for a hate crime. But back then, that was considered a perfectly acceptable resolution. Funny PS to that story, by the way. 10 years later, I'm walking into the courthouse, and I'm standing there talking to one of my colleagues, and I look off to the far left, and I see a very attractive woman staring at me. And I'm thinking, like, you still got it, sex. Yes, it's the tie. And she's just smiling at me. So I'm like, do I know her? This is weird. So I finish this conversation. I kind of do the peacocking thing where I'm like, all right, man, catch you later. And I'm like, I'm going to walk past her. So I walk up, very cute. I said, hey, how you doing? And she goes, good, how you doing? I go, good. She goes, you don't remember me? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't. I would think I would. And she goes, it's me, Amy. And I was like, Amy? And she goes, Andy? And I went, holy shit! It was that person. Wow. It was that person with 10 years of hormones and a bunch of other things.
Being hot as both genders seems unfair.
It really does. It really, and by the way, could do great home renovations. That's fucked up.
Also, if you transition, you should introduce yourself again. Right? You should lead with that. Be like, hey, by the way, I've done some updates.
I've done a little work.
She was fishing for compliments.
If you did
She's
recognize
fully a
her,
woman at this point.
If you did recognize her, you did a bad job.
I guess so. But it just felt like, I did feel a little deflated because I was like, oh, I got this hot shit checking me out. And then I'm like, oh no, okay, it's not for the reasons I thought.
Former client, you can't.
No, but
you
then
can
after
still get
stuff
behind
together, it was fine. No.
What's the weirdest way you've gotten paid?
A motorcycle.
So
I was given a motorcycle once. I had a client who said, he used to like fix up bikes, and I used to ride at the time, and he said, I'm gonna pay you. I just got to sell this bike that I just fixed up.
Like,
I was like, oh, what bike is it? And he showed me, and I was like, I'll just take the bike.
What about cash? Like just straight.
People
cash?
try to pay me in cash all the time.
And you say no.
I'll accept cash, but I do tell them like there's rules about how we take cash, and then we have to report it if it's over $10,000. But I've had people who come in with like $300,000 in cash, and they're like, can I just pay my bill with this? And when you say to them, yes, but I have to then report to the bank where I got it, then suddenly they're like, no problem, I'll bring you a check, and instead.
Okay, so you're by the book when it comes to payment.
You have to be as a lawyer. I mean,
a lot of lawyers are Wild West with that shit.
He's
gonna say that.
He's almost retired. He said, "Let it go."
Not lawyers.
Banging outside of town.
No, we went to a hotel. I have some class here. I'm a cheap date. No, I feel like a lot of lawyers. What's interesting is if you read the disciplinary opinions for lawyers, it's really funny because they fuck up lawyers and disbar lawyers for financial stuff really fast. Almost like you read they publish these decisions. It's like, it runs chills through all of us. But you'll read it and they're like, this lawyer had sex with 3 of his clients. He, had a serious cocaine problem, and he told 3 of his clients that cases were resolved when in fact they weren't. Suspended for 2 weeks from the practice of law. And then they're like, this guy did not report $23 that he received in cash disbarred. And you're like, fuck! Like, the money thing is the biggest thing. So lawyers who play it fast and loose with that stuff, like, you're not going to be around long.
Have you ever...
And that lets you know right there. It's always about the money, people. And the fact that the people who oversee divorces, family law matters, like, oh, yeah, man, you didn't account for this $250. We're going to bar you for life. But you out here banging your clients, you know what I mean, getting DUIs, doing all this other kind of stuff. We're just going to suspend you for 2 weeks. That should tell you all you need to know, bro, about how money rules America, right? All right, think about it, man. Wu-Tang, bro. Cream. Cash rules everything around me, bro. So y'all got to understand that, bro. Politics, law, family law, business law, in the hood, wherever, in the trailer park, in the barrio, it doesn't matter, bro. It doesn't matter, man. On MLK or on Park Ave, money controls everything, bro. Everything. You know what I mean? So I don't play with that money, man. Don't play with that money, bro. You find yourself not only disbarred, but locked up.
Hooked up with any clients?
No. And I have to tell you.
Have they thrown it at you?
No, for real.
You never circled back after you got the good divorce, got paid, and I was like, we can spend his money together.
I will tell you why. Because I'm trying to figure out how to say this without offending any of my existing clients. The truth is that if you represent a woman in her divorce, you will never fucking want to date her. Like, you see the worst of this person.
Wow.
Like there's a rule.
Good lie.
There's a rule.
I know.
That's a good lie.
He's a good lawyer. I almost believe that.
There's a rule in New York. There's a rule in New York. Matrimonial lawyers are not. We're the only lawyers that are not allowed to have sex with our clients. It's a rule. Like, if you do a real estate closing for someone, you can fuck them. But if you're a divorce lawyer, a domestic relations lawyer, you cannot have sex with your client for 6 months after the representation's concluded.
You should have said that. You should have said it's illegal.
Yeah. No, we're saying do circle the block 7 months in.
But I'm telling you something. Whoever wrote that rule was not a divorce lawyer, because you don't even want to fucking talk to these people, much less fuck them.
So you see how difficult it is to have a grown-up conversation with Andrew Schultz and the boys, right? This is amazing information. Now, do I think that they're doing this on purpose to kind of take away from the message and, kind of sidetrack what James Sexton is trying to do? I don't think so. Maybe subconsciously this is something they're doing because the information hurts their ears. It's like, you know what I mean? Stop saying this stuff, bro. Quit telling me, and I'm out here. I'm so vulnerable right now because of the decision I made to marry this person without doing any prenup or anything like that. Or it could just be they're, immature. And this is how they get down. This is how they talk, man. But notice how Sexton is able to bring it right back to where he wants the conversation to be. He ain't letting them get up out of there, bro. Like, nah, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about how dumb you guys were for doing what you did. I'm going to tell you about it. And if it goes bad, which it probably will, you can't go crying to nobody because I done told you, bro. I done told you. Let's continue.
Good. Some of these women too, they have a hero thing they've put on you.
Yeah.
That is so unhealthy.
It's the first time I start to sweat all podcast.
Can we take a break? I gotta call my lawyer.
Okay, so we know you've never fucked a client over, but hypothetically speaking, like, if you ever were to circle the block 7 months later, 8 months later, and like now that girl has tons of money that you won for her, and she's like really grateful.
Yeah.
What would that be like hypothetically? What is that head like? Hypothetically speaking, like when you just got her $100 million.
I mean, look, it'd probably be
just
fantastic.
smiling, thinking
yeah,
about
it'd be a
it.
lot of money. Yeah, listen, it's not, you know, I'm not
Just in her
she's got enough money to do better than me at that point.
No,
you know?
but she's really grateful.
Yeah, I mean, look, they do. What I'll tell you is your female clients fall in love with you.
They do,
but it's not you that they're in love with. You're their hero in the situation.
Of course,
and so you have to have the presence of mind. Like it's like when you're a college professor. Like of course. You got 20-something-year-old girls who are like coming to your office hours, like and they're into you. Of course, there's a part of your brain that goes, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? This is fucking." But the truth is, they think you know shit you don't know. They think that you're this genius person. You're just a fucking person. Like, so I really don't like. That's not. They're not in love with you.
I think like 20 of them you fucked. I think bare minimum.
Yeah, what?
In 2 decades. In 2 decades.
Bro,
you're at a bar. You're drinking.
Jitsu tatted up.
I know. You're a husband's worst nightmare.
I know some things.
Well, here's what I'll tell you.
I know
It
a court
upsets-
clerk in Manhattan Family Court. She knows some stories about you.
We do research on this podcast. James. We don't fuck around.
I mean, that's really wow. That was, you launched that one. You know, look,
That's how you get 50% off. It's never pro bono, but that's how you get 50% off.
I'm gonna give you my card. Yeah. Never need anything.
But they should.
Come over. It's lovely.
But they should. If it's like a horrible divorce and you free this woman from this oppressive man, and then you take the majority of money, give it to him, and the house and all this other stuff, and she can't just,
But you got it in your head too. I mean, see, like in your head, there's like these super hot young women I'm representing who like now have $100 million and want to fuck me.
Yeah.
It's really
We're
like
not thinking about the money.
it's mostly like women in like their 50s with like they all got that New York, surprise cosmetic surgery look.
The old
and like this is not like I could do better than that.
What about
I think.
somebody's
Like,
second
I don't-
wife?
Like
one of
somebody's
these-
second wife.
second
there's
wife.
usually a prenup. If there's a prenup,
they lock
it's
them
not
in.
as they're smart enough to lock him in. I say to the 3 fucking guys who are married and don't have prenups.
Well, he's not married yet. Should he get a
There's
prenup?
still hope for you.
Should he get a prenup?
Of course he should have a fun. All fucking 3, all of you should have a prenup.
But it's still fun.
What do you mean? Why? And
Don't you
it's
wanna-
no fun.
Don't you like the
fuck are you
risk of it?
talking about?
Like every argument that you get in with your wife, you're like, man, half my shit at the end of this argument. Like, isn't that exciting?
That's the
Don't you want to live on the edge?
Weird definition.
I'm
of
Alex
excitement.
Honnold. I'm climbing the side of the cliff.
That's
There's no ropes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
I want
wow.
ropes.
I honestly do feel like if we get divorced, you take half the shit. Do I think I can't make more money? Like, go away. I'm paying you to go away.
Yeah.
Here's half my shit. Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm going to go make more money, and then we're done.
Would it be even cooler though?
He
Is
has to
keeping
justify
all
to
that
himself.
fucking money.
No, Andrew's whole goal is to have her make more money than me anyway. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, look, what I'll tell you is, I mean, first of all, I don't think anybody wants their marriage to continue, their spouse to stay in the marriage because they don't want to give up half their shit. That's like a bad incentive. Right? Like you want someone to stay married to you because they want to be married to you. Because they think you add value to their life, that they enjoy your company, that more often than not, they're glad they're with you, whatever. Any number of justifications.
Yeah.
But to say, well, I'm with him because I don't want to have to give away half
That's
my
what Alex.
shit.
He's got broke boy
That's
mentality.
A terrible, right?
He's got
It's a
broke boy
terrible
mentality.
reason.
He's like a child.
We
He's like a
talk
big
about
child.
this. Yeah, we got to get this out.
See, this is the part of the interview that was perfect. This is what Polly was saying. Like, man, it's gonna go off the rails. They're gonna crash out. They tried. Andrew and the Happy Boys tried to crash this interview. And what did James do? He brought it right back. Like, all y'all should have prenups. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all stupid. And Akash is like, well, I'm just paying her to go away. No, you're not. Akash is 100% completely in love and infatuated with his wife. And bro, man, I'm just glad I'm not in his situation. I'm not saying that there's something negative going on, anything like that, but Akash ain't the guy. You feel me? He's not even a guy in this social group. Schultz he is. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, bro. In the back of his mind, it might be a very, very small, very faint voice telling him, I got a problem. Right? Just like Educated Tyrone is saying, man, he's coping for real. And here's the thing about comics, man. Comics are realists. Like, they understand the world. some feel that they're trapped. Some feel that they can't command the world. They can't control the world, right? But they know that they understand the world, right? So Akash knows exactly where he is. He got this woman because, bro, he was on stage. He was famous. She was younger. He was younger. She was like, oh, my God. But now she's older. Maybe she was expecting stuff, man. Who knows? Man, I hope his marriage works. I hope his marriage works. Because I don't wish having to go through the family court system on anybody. But to sit there and say, well, I'm paying her to go away, I'm going to give her half my stuff, I'm going to go make more money, man, you out of your mind. And if there's a child involved, let's say you have a baby and, 2 years later, y'all get divorced, that's 16 years plus of child support, man, on top of the spousal support. And in some states, right, spousal support, alimony is for until they remarry. Florida, again, changed the laws down here. They don't do forever alimony anymore. Right? They used to do it. They don't do it now. There's a formula that they follow. You're only going to get alimony for a specific amount of time. That's how they do it down here in Florida. It makes more sense. And that alimony is based on how long you guys were together and what was going on in the relationship and stuff like that. So, if you're Jeff Bezos' ex-wife and you gave him a loan so he could start Amazon and now he's, worth bazillions of dollars, you're going to get more money because Florida's going to look at that like, yeah, that company wouldn't exist without you. But if it's the other way around, you're Jeff Bezos, you're already worth bazillions of dollars and he met you at a gentleman's club and he brought you into the house for 2 years and you get divorced, you ain't getting nothing. Baby, you didn't bring nothing to this. He took care of everything. As a matter of fact, you might owe him something. You don't have to give him back that ring, give him back some of the Birkins, give him back a car. You know what I mean? I'm just, just kind of making scenarios up, just hypotheticals, but at least they're looking at it. No more forever alimony. So it is crazy. But you see how James kept them grounded. Nah, bro, y'all all should have prenups. Let's continue.
So if I were to get a prenup, what should I include in it?
I think the easiest prenup is the one that I would encourage most people to have, which is, I call it the yours, mine, and ours. If it's in your name, asset or liability, you keep it. If it's in her name, asset or liability, she keeps it. If it's in joint names, you split it 50-50. That's it, clean. Here's what I'll tell you. Everybody, all three of you have a prenup. The government wrote it.
Oh.
The state legislature wrote your fucking prenup. And by the way, you think that's a good idea? You ever been to the DMV?
Yeah.
You ever walk into the DMV and go, these people should be in charge of everything. Yeah. They're great at it. This is really good. But the reality is the government is the worst fucking people to write your prenup.
To whom, though? To whom? Worse to whom? To my wife or to me? To
both of you. Both of you. The process. You've signed up for a rule set that you don't even know.
I don't know.
You bought a house, right? You bought a house. You had to sign a HUD-1, a lead paint disclosure. You got all this fucking information about the loan. You got married. You can get a fucking pamphlet. Yeah. You just did the most legally significant thing you're going to do in your whole life other than die.
Yeah.
And you have no fucking clue what happened. The first time
it's called big dick energy. That's what it's called. Big dick. I know pussy energy. Let me look at the documents. I didn't even know what the house you were talking about.
I'm going to take it.
More lead paint.
Translate that to going to Vegas and being like, I'm betting it all on black. How much? I don't know all of it. Go.
I would do that.
Fucking crazy.
I have and I've lost quite a few Bitcoin. So
it is crazy.
It is what it's about.
It is crazy. It is crazy. 100%.
Because my attitude is, look, all kidding aside, every marriage has a prenup. It's either one that's written by the government or it's written by the two people that like each other theoretically more than the other 8 billion other options, right?
Right.
So who is better to come up with a rule set than those two people? And that's all a prenup is. A prenup is just saying, look, there's going to come a time, if you get married, it's smart to say to your spouse, when you're getting along still, babe, we're going to get in a fight at some point. I promise. It's probably going to be my fault. I'm going to say some dumb shit. I say dumb shit. It happens.
Yeah.
When we get in that fight, what should that look like? Do you need a minute? Should I give you some space? If I force you to talk about it, is it going to turn into a whole thing? Or do we need to take care of this now because you don't want to go to bed angry? I want to know. Because the worst time to learn how to fight is when you're in a fucking fight. That's the worst time to learn how to do a fight.
Yeah.
So that's all a prenup is. A prenup is saying, look, we're getting along right now. We have an abundance of goodwill between the two of us. If, God forbid, in the highly unlikely 56 fucking %, the highly unlikely chance that we would get divorced, what would that look like? And by the way, there's a way to say it that I think has a tremendous amount of big dick energy, which is to say, you know what? You're my woman. I want you to feel safe.
Yeah,
you can't feel loved unless you feel safe. And the way I want you to feel safe, the way I want you to feel safe is I want you to feel safe from everyone, including me. So what is
dumb do
we're
you think
gonna
our
owe
wives
each other?
are?
Man, the way that Brother James handled that, man, kept everybody on message, bro. He wouldn't let them go. He wouldn't let them go. He's like, man, y'all crazy. I'm trying to get y'all into the nuts and bolts here. What are y'all doing? Right? If I listen, I'm gonna keep it 100. Y'all already know I ain't trying to get married. If she has less than me, there's no way I'm getting legally married in this or any other country for that matter. I'm not getting legally married, right? Maybe we can do something spiritual. We can write our own promises to each other and whatever. But we can make those promises in front of the universe somewhere. Like I would. There was a thing back in the day. What I was gonna do when I was gonna marry a woman, I was gonna tell her like, hey, I don't want to be legally married. I don't want to, pay for a wedding. That's what it was. I don't want to pay for a wedding. So what I was gonna do, this was my one and only shit test for a woman that I was gonna marry. Right. So my plan was this. Like, all right, I'm gonna ask her to marry me. I'm gonna get the stone and everything, and I'm gonna take her to Tahiti, Bora Bora, right? Bora Bora, they got those huts on the water. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up, Google it. They got these huts on the water. They have like inside the hut is like a glass floor kind of thing, so you can see into the water below you and the stuff swimming around or whatever. It's beautiful. And what I was gonna do is go to Bora Bora, have her with me. I was going to get her like and again, this is something I thought up in my mind. It never happened, right? It never happened. But I was going to get myself some linen pants, a linen shirt, white. And I was going to get her a linen, like a dress thing, you know what I'm saying? Like a sundress kind of thing, white. And we were going to wake up. I'm going to have all that stuff laid out there with some like flowers and shit like that and the ring in my hand. And my idea was I'm going to ask her to marry me right now. And by right now, I mean right now. Let's get married right now. I have it all set up. We got one of the local witch doctors going to meet us on the beach. Right? We're going to put on our white outfits. We're going to go out here at night under the stars where it's nice and clean. You can actually see the stars, right? And we're going to promise ourselves to each other under the stars in front of the universe as our witness with our feet in this clear, beautiful water. And we're going to do that. And in my mind, I'm like, if she agrees to that, if the woman's like, I'll do it because I love you and you're the person I want to be with, I'll do it. She puts on the dress. We go out, we put our feet in the water. We got the witch doctor. We do that. And only us, just us and the people from Bora Bora. If she were to do that and be happy, what I would have done once we got back to America is like, okay, babe, if you really want to sign the papers, I'll sign the papers. You did that for me under the auspice that you were never going to have that wedding day. We weren't going to sign any papers. That was what we were going to do. That's what I wanted. And you agreed to it. And you did all that for me. When we get back to the state, I'd have told her on the flight back, like, you know what, if you really want to have a proper wedding or whatever, we can have it. I'll sign the papers. You love me enough to give me what I wanted. I'll give you what you wanted. That's what I had in my mind. Of course, it never happened. But that was the only way I was going to sign some paper. Like, I need to see that she's willing to marry me and not sign a damn thing. That's what I was thinking. Like, she wants to be with me and forego all of the social bullshit, the societal norms. She just, and I was like, if I find that woman, bro, it's on. It's on. I would marry her when we got back. That's what I was going to do. It never happened. And then, life happened. And then, I got wrecked. And I was like, bro, I ain't never doing shit. I ain't never getting married. I ain't buying no more. I ain't buying no stones. I've been engaged once. Like, I'm not going out buying no rings. I ain't doing none of that shit. So if I meet a woman at this age, we can just, ride off into the sunset together. We ain't signing shit. We ain't going to Bora Bora. We ain't doing none of that. None of that. You know what I mean? But the whole point being, even before I found this community, even before I fell down this rabbit hole, I was thinking about it. Like, why would I sign that document? Why would I take so much risk? Right? Why would I do all that? I was thinking about it, but I was still willing to do it. Just like Akash, just like Andrew Schultze, you know what I mean? Just like Mark. I think Mark got married too, I think. Just like them, I still would have done it. because that Disney fairy tale was ingrained in me like it was ingrained in everybody else, I still would have done it. Right? I would have. But now, no way in hell. Now, having said all that, if a woman came to me, like, you know, with Oprah Winfrey money, talking about she wants to get married and she brings a prenup, I'm going to read the prenup to make sure it doesn't cost me anything. Like, the prenup is basically stating that this doesn't work, you know, we'll just split up the monies we earn together from this date until the end of the relationship. I'll sign that all day long. Yeah, no problem. That's cool. I'll have my lawyer look at it, make sure I didn't miss nothing. Yeah, cool. I would expect her to have a prenup. If she didn't have a prenup, I would tell her to go get one. Baby, go get a prenup. I want you to know that I ain't trying to take shit from you. Go get a prenup. I'll make her sit down and watch this episode. Get a prenup. Let's watch James Sexton. Let's watch South White Underbelly. Let's watch this thing he did on Flagrant. He's got a bunch of other videos out there too. That's what I would have done. You know what I mean? And I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm not against marriage. It's just, it's not gonna work, bro. It's like I was a paratrooper. If they told me there was an 80% chance that my parachute would not deploy, I still would have been airborne. I just would have asked to pack my own parachute. Like, well, not that I don't trust the riggers. I want to pack my own parachute. If it's an 80% chance this thing ain't gonna open and I'm gonna, go smashing in, I'm gonna go burning into the ground, I want to at least say that I packed it. It's my fault. Right? That's my thing. I don't have a problem with marriage if you want to do it. You just have to understand what you're doing and accept the risk. That's it. And if you can minimize the risk by doing a prenup, then that's what you should do. And if you're dealing with a woman and you say, hey, I want to do this, let's do this prenup, let's protect ourselves, and she says no, what is she thinking? What's her real motive here? Walk away. Walk away. If I'm dealing with a woman who is really wealthy, ultra wealthy, and she comes up to me and says, sign a prenup, like I said, I'm going to run it through my attorney. If they say it's good, then I'll sign it. Because I understand. I ain't trying to take nothing from her. If I'm in a situation where I want to be with her, I love her. I ain't trying to take nothing from you, baby. No problem. This is great. As a matter of fact, my attorney might say, hey, she might want to watch this wording here because according to this wording, you can take her house. I would point that out to her. Hey, your lawyer might be saying you up here because this wording right here, my lawyer says I could take your house. So you might want to change that. But I signed it. You know what I mean? If you want to go get another one to bring it back, I'll sign it. Bring back the other one. Right? So I don't know why. I do know why. It's societal pressure that makes women feel a certain way when you say sign a prenup. Sign a prenup. You're taking away the safety net. You're taking away her advantage in some cases. And if she refuses to marry you because you want her to sign a prenup, then that's not the woman for you. At least that's my take on it. So many men will still get married, even though the woman says, I don't want a prenup. They'll still get married. Joe Rogan was talking about it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And yeah, these expensive weddings, bro. I know people who have spent almost north of $80,000 on a wedding. They got divorced and they had to share the debt in a divorce, bro. They got divorced and they had to split up the wedding debt because they spent so much money on a wedding they hadn't paid it back yet. So they had to split that up. That was part of the deal. The one party was trying to get the other party to pay for the remaining debt. And the other party was like, nah, I ain't gonna pay for all that. We could split it. So they wound up coming up with a number. I don't know if it was 50-50, 60-40, whatever it was. But that was part of the divorce. Crazy. Let's continue.
Well, I mean, the marriage you.
She's like, I got this, Sim.
Yeah. Actual question, yours, mine, and ours. How does that go once you're married? Everything's just going to go ours, right? You're going to buy the house, it's going to be our name. You're going to buy the cars, it's going to be our name.
Conversation you got to have. Like, look, you know this as a married man. If you can't have difficult conversations with your spouse, don't get fucking married. Like part of being married is having hard conversations, talking about tough stuff.
Personally,
yeah.
Let's say you and your wife are both working. Wife decides to not work to raise the child.
Sure, common.
Before they get into that, man, the whole yours, mine's, and ours made complete sense to me, right? Maybe that's because I'm one of the dudes who was watching the Fresh and Fit back in the day when Fresh and Fit first started. They used to have the divorce attorneys on, and they would talk about co-mingling accounts, co-mingling money. Like once you get married, everything you had before the marriage is still really just yours. It's not mingled together until you start to move that money over and do stuff for the married life. So if you have an account over here with $1 million in it, and you guys are married, you still got that account over there with $1 million, but then y'all decide to do an upgrade to the house, a house that y'all bought together, and then you pull $300,000 out of your account to put it into, the house. Well, now that whole $1 million account now is part of the wedding, the marriage, right? I didn't know that. That blew my mind. It's like, so you just got to make sure you don't commingle accounts. You got to figure out ways to move the money where the money isn't mixed in with the marital assets. You got to still keep your stuff over there, and you still need your prenup. This is why you need a good lawyer. This is why you need a good accountant. So it's all set up so you don't make that mistake. I didn't know about that. So yeah, you can have yours, mine, and ours, right? It could be done. But, you got Akash sitting there and you could tell he never gave it any thought. He was too busy blowing off the red pill guys, blowing off the manosphere guys, calling them incels, calling them weird. And then he looks up and he's like, oh my goodness, I might have screwed myself, right? I might have, oh my God, this is going to be a problem. Uh-oh, right? Uh-oh. And it's back to Houston, we have a problem, right?
Houston, we have a problem.
It's like, how do I get out of it? Well, try to get you a post-nup.
And maybe I'm telling you how I feel without asking you how you feel.
Okay.
But like, there's a part of me that goes, okay, well, first of all, anything, I don't have a prenup, obviously, so anything that we own is both of ours. But like, I think that if she's going to make that sacrifice and that decision, I think she's entitled to half of everything.
Who would disagree with
Okay, good, because I think there's sometimes people.
Totally fair.
Okay, and I think sometimes people are like, well, if you're making the money, that's all you. It's like,
Right.
yeah, but you're able to do that because somebody's looking after the child.
Right.
Now, there's circumstances, like your guys' circumstances, they don't have a kid yet, right? So like he's making money and, your wife could be making money. So he might have an argument to go, well, I'm going to keep all of this because you could be working.
Yeah.
But I do think once you add children into the mix, there's a very different.
But I totally agree, and I think any reasonable person would. But just to push back on that thought a little bit.
Yep.
What I would say to you is, okay, but there's got to be a stop loss somewhere in there, right? Like
What
there's got to be some sense of like, what is that obligation? Because look, at the end of the day, we all owe each other things when we make decisions like this.
Oh,
right?
you're saying at
like
a certain
in some
number.
ways, you wouldn't have the success you have if it wasn't for your wife.
Absolutely.
She supported you. She's helped build. Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
Your wife wouldn't be the person she is if it wasn't for her mother.
Sure.
So what do you owe her mother? How much?
I think at least half.
Okay. Her mother wouldn't be the person she was if it wasn't for her mother.
She
so
needs
how much
half
do we
to.
owe grandma?
She needs half
Okay,
to.
so the math on this gets a little fuzzy.
They all need half.
So the reality is
everybody.
Look, I think fundamentally,
Yeah, they need half of her
value is an important thing. I just watched your special, and I got a huge kick out, especially as a divorce lawyer, the shit we laugh at. But when you said the thing about, we made
a baby.
We made a baby, and you're like, oh, just like we made this money, like it's our money. Like, okay, look, at the end of the day, we know you earn more than her, right? Okay, so why do we have to be afraid to say that out loud? Like, marriage is an economy.
Yeah.
That's not a dirty word. An economy is we're exchanging value.
Yeah.
We're giving and receiving. And an economy does not require that everyone gives and receives the exact same fucking thing.
Right.
You can say, like Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, without Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs would have a lot of cool ideas he couldn't do shit with.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak would be a dude in his garage making shit but have no vision. So together they brought something to fruition. Same thing with the marriage.
There's no question.
Does she get half? Does that really make sense? Half of everything?
So there's no question of whether what you're saying makes sense. I think the difficult emotional battle, which you've probably done thousands of times, is putting a dollar value on what somebody brings to the table in a marriage. Like, what is the dollar value you're worth for raising our kid?
Yes.
That's a really difficult thing to do.
It
feels icky.
But it only feels icky for reasons that I think we could fix as a culture, and that is that why can't we be on? Like, I'm a fan of honesty.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of just say a quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Like, you give me, like, because here's the problem. Here's the problem with modern marriage from a man's perspective, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Most of the marriages I know, okay, the man provides financially. He protects, right? He, he's also there to be part of the family dynamic, taking care of kids, doing the things that he can do. What does the woman bring? She brings love, affection, a little bit of sweetness at the end of the day, sex. She brings, taking care of kids. Okay. If you get divorced, every single thing on that side of the man equation, he can be compelled to do by the power of the state. And if he fails to do it, they can put him in jail. Nothing on that other side, the female side, is enforceable at law. The court cannot order her to be nice to you, to fuck you, to be a wonderful mother to your children. She can't. They can't force that. So when you have a contract where only one side of it is enforceable with the power of the state and the other side is not, my attitude is, why don't we then just have an honest conversation about what we could both be afraid of and what value we want to attribute
But
to
the court
something.
can't force.
That is the most red pill statement I've ever heard in my adult life. Right? It's grown up. It's real. You want to see the Matrix? He just showed you what the Matrix looks like. Everything you do as a man in a marriage scenario, when you're married, legally married to a woman, versus everything she does, right? All the stuff that, he said, I would even add to that she adds peace to your life. She cooks, she cleans, she raises the kids, she has sex with you, she looks good, she adds peace to your life. She helps you with what you're doing, and then you do all the stuff, you provide and you provision and you do all those things, right? Nothing that she does can be forced. She can't be compelled to do those things by law, but everything that you do on your side, you can be compelled to do by law. Bro, and men sign up for this. All right, Bill Burr did a joke about this, man, probably 20 years ago now. Like, oh, is this you talking about getting married? Like, why do guys get married? 50% of the time it don't work. It's like, oh, is this the line I stand in to lose all my shit? Right? It's, bro, there's nothing. That's, that right there was worth watching the entire interview. Just that part right there. Remember, 5 minutes before he made that statement, they're all joking around, laughing, being, trying to take him off message. And then he brings them right back with this, boy, straight to the dome. Let me tell you why you need a prenup. Bam. Everything you're doing for your wife can be enforced by law. And if you don't do it, they can lock you up or take it, or both. But there's nothing on her side that they can force her to do. That's game. That's game. We got Ojo in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you. Let that sink in, gentlemen. Run that back a few times. If you're watching this on Team Replay, man, run that back. Go listen to that one more time, what he just said. That's the American legal system when it comes to family law, bro. Right? And you notice, like I said, the jokes done stopped. They listening now. The ha-ha boys ain't got no ha-ha right now. Why? Because they're like, oh, my God, this man just brought it home for me.
You to protect your wife, and the court can't force you to make money
economically
for your family.
they can force you to. They can force you to protect somebody. You can, like, I've had cases where the court says, okay, this person needs a security detail. If it's a celebrity, they say these kids are going to need security for when they go to school, things like that.
But the average person, like, can the court say you have to work to a dad?
Well, what the courts say is Lincoln freed the slaves. Like, if you're a you notice I didn't look over.
Appreciate it.
Like, I like this fucking guy.
He jumps right in on that. It's like, non to Lincoln, by the way. Just want to pick up.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
What I'm saying,
Yeah, the dude in court.
Take a right on racist slavery right there.
It's a dude in court.
Yeah, you said her pussy was like a bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah.
You said she's thicker than
Thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
So if your financial status at the moment you were getting divorced determined what your obligations were, everybody quit their fucking job the minute they were getting divorced.
Right.
So what the courts say is, like, if you're a brain surgeon who now I'm getting divorced, I decided I want to be a fucking yoga teacher.
Right.
The court goes, look, Lincoln freed the slaves. We can't make you be a brain surgeon. You're just going to be you're going to be a yoga teacher who has the financial obligations of a brain surgeon.
Oh, wow.
So they impute an income to you.
Oh, really?
And they'll say, whatever you do for a living, it's fine. We can't force you to work, but we can give you financial obligations commensurate with your earning capacity, even if you're not earning at that capacity.
Wow.
Which is
So here's the thing. All those men sitting at the table right now, the ha-ha boys, in particular probably Akash, is thinking, well, hold on now. If I got divorced right now at my peak, let's say, and I don't know what his peak is, but let's just say, like, right now he's doing really well. We got flagrant, he's touring the country. Let's say Akash is we're just making up numbers, guys. We're just making up numbers. But let's say that Akash is earning $10 million a year. Let's just say that. We're just making up numbers. He's making $10 million. Let's say that, a few years from now, like, let's say that tomorrow he gets a TV deal and that leads to 8 seasons on whatever network, and he's getting paid, like with, Hollywood money. He's worth $10 million. His annual income is like $1.8 million. And then she decides, you know what? I've had enough. We're getting divorced. His alimony and child support is going to be based on him making that much money. $1.8 million a year. You got over $10 million in the bank, liquid. They're going to take that money, half of that money, if not more. You're going to have to pay for both attorneys. We're going to give you, it's going to be this, this alimony and then this child support and all that. So you might be looking at another, I don't know, $8,000 to $12,000 a month, right? And then a year after the divorce, the TV show goes away, right? Let's say Flagrant goes away. There's no more Flagrant. There's no more podcast money. The podcast money goes from, $20,000 a month down to $500 a month, right? And then, okay, you're not hot anymore, bro. So when you go tour, you're not getting $50,000 a night, right? You're getting maybe $3,000 a night or something like that, right? But that obligation, that financial obligation, is still going to be there. The judge is going to be like, nah, you better go get another TV show. You better go figure out how to get that money, that stage money up. You better go figure this out because this is what you still owe. And then they're going to seize all your money. They're going to do all that kind of stuff. And if they have to, they'll lock you up, depending on what state you in. Right? This is how the system works. This is what they signed up for, and they don't understand that. They being Andrew, Akash, and the rest of the boys sitting on the sofa.
Actually really
That's
fucked up sometimes. Yeah. Like I had a client once who was an air traffic controller.
Oh, I know about that.
And if you know anything about air traffic controllers, like you can have a high school education, be an air traffic controller, make like $300,000-400,000 a year.
Wow.
Like you can do really, really well. Well, this guy, his mother passed away. He was very close with her. He had a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression from it, and he had to go on medication, psychiatric medication, to like sort of deal with it. You're not allowed to be on benzodiazepines or certain psychiatric medications while you're in air traffic control, so he was terminated from his position. The next best job this guy could get, he made about $50,000 a year. But the court was like, no.
You still got to.
Your earning capacity is $350,000 a year. That's what you made. And we were like, Judge, what job can this guy get where he's going to make that amount of money? So it can sometimes, this is how guys end up in jail for not paying support. It's not their fault.
So what did he do?
He suffered, basically. Yeah. I mean, he had a very unfair child support award placed against him. He ended up in jail a couple of times. It was a really...
Because he was like selling drugs or something to make the money?
No, he just was not... He didn't pay his support. It's illegal to not pay child support. You can be put in jail.
But you can't go back for a readjustment if you have...
We did after a certain amount of time, and then it was granted. Yeah. Like it was... The judge sort of didn't buy that this was not done intentionally. Like we joke in our industry that, we call it sudden income deficiency syndrome, that it hits like 9 out of 10 divorcing men. Like guys are doing really great, and then all of a sudden they're getting divorced, and they're like, but this year's going to be bad. I'm not going to do well this year. Like you work for Goldman Sachs. And they're like, yeah, but we're having a bad year. So it happens a lot that judges tend to look at people and go, something tells me that if you're saying you're suddenly not doing well financially and it happens to be when you're getting divorced, there might be it's not a coincidence.
So I hear about these guys.
So you see how the tone has changed. It's no more yucky, yuck, jokey, joke. They're like, oh shit, man, this is real. Y'all know I'm a retired air traffic controller, so I can speak to that example. Bro, we talk about it on this platform all the time, right? We make videos on how to be an air traffic controller, how to apply. We got brothers who are with us, rock with us, part of our team. They're currently air traffic controllers now because they saw the platform. They applied, they got in, they're doing well, right? I can't tell you how many times I get hit up on Instagram by people I've never met that I don't know, and they're thanking me for the videos that we put up because they applied and they're getting into the field. A lot of people I don't know, and I try to keep track. I'm like, hey, keep me informed. Let me know when you're certified. Let me know. Let me do that. And it's great. We're proud of it. Me and Jay Swans, man, we talk about it all the time, man. We're happy. You know what I mean? Like we're so happy that these people get an opportunity to change their life. You can get into air traffic control with a high school diploma. And if you're good at it, bro, you can work at some facilities and you can make upwards north of $200,000-300,000. I've seen guys make even more with overtime and all this other kind of stuff. right? There's different ways you can max out on pay. But at the end of the day, you have a high school diploma. He was talking about going through a bad thing with his mom. He lost his mom, and this controller was having a hard time, and he was, prescribed some mental health drugs. It's a lot of stuff you can't work on as an air traffic controller. And here's the problem. Once you get hit by the flight surgeon and they take your ticket, they take away your ability, like your medical, they pull your medical, it is really, really difficult to get it back. So this story makes complete sense to me. This guy's dealing with, mental issues. He lost his mom. People are like, well, you don't just go crazy for losing your mom. Look at Kanye West. Right? I will present Kanye West. Like, you want to see an example of how bad it can get when you lose your mom? Look at that. So you got an air traffic controller who's got to do what he's got to do. It's already a stressful job. It's already high pressure. You lose your mom. Your mom might have been your rock. She's gone. You got to do something. Your wife is tripping. You got to go to court. Now you're dealing with this. I'm telling you, man, that going through family court, bro, of all the shit I've gotten myself into in my life, and trust me, I've been through some situations, y'all. I am no stranger to hyperviolence. I'm no stranger to gunplay, to the pew-pew, rounds flying back and forth. And that was before I joined the Army. I joined the Army, became a paratrooper, went to war. I'm no stranger to seeing death and destruction. Never in my life was I ever so stressed out that I couldn't function. But one day, sitting outside that courtroom, I had a panic attack, bro. I ain't never in my life had only reason I knew it was a panic attack because I read about it. I was sitting there having a panic attack and had to sit there and start going into deep breathing exercises because I read this thing years ago about panic attacks. Like, you just got to breathe your way through it. So I'm just taking deep controlled breaths. I'm letting them out easy. I'm doing all that stuff. I'm just trying to get my heart rate down. My heart was going crazy, bro. Finally got my heart rate down. I'm like, damn, I had a panic attack dealing with the family law system. It really messed with my head. It really messed with my head. So I can see a guy needing some help. Once you get those meds, it's over. You can forget about it. And the judge will look at that like, oh, you're just using this as a way to, get this money out, get this money reduced, and then you're going to get back to being an air traffic controller. No. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys, man, because I had a very similar situation. I don't believe I could get a medical to be an air traffic controller if I tried today. I'm being 100% honest. I don't know if I can do it. It would probably take me 2 or 3 years to get medically cleared to be an air traffic controller again. Real talk. Right? It's ridiculous. And then I'm out of the FAA. So if I was to get my medical, I would have to go work for a private ATC company, which I wouldn't want to do. So, bro, and then they make you come in every 6 months and they're checking. They could pull that thing again at any moment. So no, it's a lot of people that go through this, man. You got these judges make these orders. His order is based on, $350, maybe $400,000 gross. That's what the order comes from. Remember, we talked about that, right? That's before taxes. Imagine what this dude was paying in child support alone. This dude was probably paying well over $5,000 a month just in child support. Add to that probably another $4,000 or $5,000 in spousal support. He's probably paying, $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 a month. That was probably his child support order. How is he going to make that kind of money with a high school diploma? And you heard what Andrew Schultz was saying, oh, they sent him to jail because he was out there trying to hustle, out there trying to, sell products so he can make that money. Like, no, they locked him up because he couldn't pay, so they put him in jail for it. Like, what? High school diploma, bro. Where is he going to go to make that kind of money? So this is how the system works. Men, this is why y'all need to watch this. Ladies, y'all need to watch this too. Because ladies are out here killing it. Y'all making more money than your male counterparts. So guess what? If it don't work out, you're going to be paying this money. These rules are going to apply to you. The judge will absolutely give you that child support order. They will absolutely give you that alimony order. They will absolutely make the man the custodial parent because he's been staying home with the kids, co-parenting, doing all that kind of stuff, running them to sporting events and all that while you was at the office making money. They will absolutely give dad the kids. He's a custodial parent. He's going to get 51% and you're going to be paying max child support. So ladies, y'all need to pay attention to this too.
guys who don't pay child support. You see that anecdotally, whatever. But then the saying I always hear is, well, courts are not in the collections business. So how do some guys seemingly not really pay, kind of be unfair, and then some guys, well-intentioned, end up in jail?
So the courts, it depends on how bold the judge is. I mean, what I'll tell you is I'll give you some free legal advice. If you ever have a child support obligation against you, which I hope you never do, and you have to pay it, and you don't have the money to pay it, like if you're supposed to give her $2,000 a month and you don't have $2,000, don't give her $1,000. Give her $1,226.37. Because then when we get in front of the judge, we can say, Judge, I had $1,000. I borrowed $200 from my cousin. I found $32 under the mats of my car. This is everything I have. Because what people do is if you gave 1,000, why didn't you give 1,001? If you gave 1,500, like a round number, it just looks like you're full of shit, you know? So, but yeah, I mean, look, we courts don't always, you know, again, because judges are human. There are some judges, they will put you right the fuck in jail. I've had clients let off in orange, you know, where the judge says, look, you got a week to pay this child support. And if you don't, bring a toothbrush when you come back to court because I'm putting you away. And they'll lock guys up. They have what's called weekend jail, where on Friday after work, you check in and you stay in jail until Monday morning.
And then Monday get to work
so you can work and pay your child support. Yeah.
What?
And we'll leave it there, bro. This is the current system that we're under. This is the current system. And you know, like I said, I don't believe that there's going to be any major changes to the system until we hear the stories of women having to pay out, you know, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in child support plus alimony, losing their homes, losing half of their retirement, right? There's some stories out there. I know people who are in the business and they'll tell me, you know, about some stuff. But until that becomes the norm, we're not going to see any changes. Until, you know, you see a woman sitting there crying, working herself to death, talking about she doesn't have her kids and, you know, she only gets 20% custody and, you know, the court is just taking her money and, you know, she's living in her car, but, you know, dad and the kids are living in this $1 million house that she bought when she was on top of the world and all this kind of stuff. And he took her Birkin collection and all that, blah, 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 right? Until that becomes the normal story and basically women start getting crushed like men, like women are starting to get thrown in prison, thrown in jail on the weekends, thrown in jail. Once that happens to women, then you'll see some swift changes to the family law system. It'll be almost overnight. It'll happen like that. Mark my words. And women are starting to do really good financially out here in the workforce. So when it happens, it's going to happen, you're going to see a sudden shift. Oh, this isn't right. Oh, it's not right because it's negatively affecting women, but this has been going on with men for generations, and y'all don't have a problem with it. This is the whole, you know what I'm saying? This is it. This is the crux of the fight between, you know, men and women, right? Like the red pill world versus the feminists. This is it. It's all good until it affects women negatively. Oh, now we got to change this. Right, and I give women their props because politically they make things happen. They'll make it change. Oh, we got to change this. They're going to make this happen politically, whereas men don't tend to get as involved politically and they just suffer in silence. So, I got to say, man, you're absolutely right, man. 100% diabolical. 110%. Weekend jail. Jesus, that's like the drunk dude Otis on and the Andy Griffin Show for you young people, old people out there. The Andy Griffin Show. They used to have one of the characters, Otis. He used to get drunk every Friday. And he would stagger into the jailhouse and let himself in jail. You know what I mean? Sleep it off, and then in the morning take the keys, the jail keys off the wall, let himself out. It's just the funniest gag ever. You know what I mean, for old time TV. But yeah, you look at the Andy Griffith Show, man. Otis the drunk. Type in Otis the drunk on Andy Griffith and in YouTube and watch the episodes that come up. It's hilarious. He just come in there and let himself into jail, lock himself into the jail cell, then wake up in the morning and let himself out. Right? That's what they're doing with dudes. Yeah, come in here and lock yourself up for the weekend and then going back to work on. It's diabolical. It's evil. It's evil. So we're gonna leave it there. We're gonna come back Thursday and we're gonna finish up. So yeah, I think we should be able, Thursday night, we should be able to run it all the way through to the end. So this will be a 3-parter. We'll finish up on Thursday. Even if we got to go long, we probably wind up doing like a 3-hour show just to finish it up. But I want to finish it up on Thursday. All right. So, fellas, learn the game. Understand the rules of the game. And if you still want to sign a marriage certificate, if you still want to get married, if you still want to do all that, man, by all means, go do it. Go do it. I'll salute you. Don't invite me to the wedding, though, because you can invite me to the wedding, but don't ask me to be in the wedding. I ain't trying to pay all that money and all that. Because I have people that hit me up, man, I tell this story all the time, bro. It's like some dudes I knew, a few of them. And, just guys I knew from the streets, and they fell in love with some girl, whatever. Like, hey, man, I'm getting married, man. You invited. Make sure you come to the wedding. I'm like, nah, man, I'll come to the next one. I'll go to your next one. Hey, what do you mean go to the next one? Like, bro, this ain't going to work. I know the girl you talking to. I know your fiance. This ain't going to work. And sure enough, they got divorced or whatever, and the dude met someone else. And, he's like, oh, you were right, man. I'm getting married. You coming? I'm like, yeah, I said I would. I'm going to come to this one. And then the second one was like in the backyard. Very small thing with family and friends. I went. I kept my word. I went. I showed up, put on the tie and everything. He was like, hey, boy, that's hardcore. You just knew it. I'm like, hey, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. And know what you're doing. So that's that, man. So we're going to finish this up on Thursday, 5 o'clock. We're going to do part 3. We're going to finish this up, the James Saxton, Andrew Schultz interview. And we're going to finish talking about family law and why you should have a prenup and what to think about when you're thinking about getting married, guys. This is very important. Definitely share this video with your friends and your family, like your little cousins, your brothers, whoever, maybe your dad, maybe your mom. If they're single, thinking about getting married again, what are you putting at risk? You feel me? Do a prenup, guys. Simple as that. Just do a prenup. So I will see y'all Thursday. Thanks for rocking out with me. Y'all know what it is. I'm DL Saint. This is That Really Want to Know podcast, man. See you later. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.